What's up, friends? Welcome into Rock Chalk Sports here on ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. We are back in the River City.
Yeah.
We safely made it back despite riding in Dan's beautiful sedan. It got us to Wichita and back, and now we're back here rolling through another 2 hours of Rock Chalk Sports.
Can you believe that old rust bucket made it there and back?
I can't believe it. No. We have a trio of all-star performers behind the cameras today in Elijah Schmidt, Trey Myers, and Jimmy Kaufman. And alongside Dan Courtwright, I am Sean Kellerman. Thanks for joining us after one of the more interesting evenings of my life.
Yeah, it was weird.
I told you many times post-game, this is one of the weirdest nights of my life.
You did.
For many reasons.
You said that multiple times,
Yeah.
like even before the game, during the game, probably 5 times after the game. It was a weird day.
Just a weird day. The basketball tournament.
The basketball
JHX
tournament.
Hoops. They take down the reigning champs in TBT, the Aftershocks, who knows, that could be their last appearance. We're hearing some rumblings that maybe that's the case after they won the championship.
Certainly, it'll be Marcus Keene's last appearance.
Ooh, you would hope so. 2025, 64-59, and we are going to talk about the game, but obviously there's some pomp and circumstance around the game that we're going to get into here in the opening segment. We did get a chance to get some exclusive post-game interviews with JHX Hoops head coach Sherron Collins and the 3 times over game winner, Frank Mason of JHX Hoops. 2 of the best players to ever don the crimson and blue.
That's right.
It was not easy getting those post-game interviews. There was a lot going on, a lot of commotion, and the team was kind of in and out. They didn't even go to the podium following multiple fights that occurred and scrums, scuffles, skirmishes, whatever you want to call them, throughout the game that led to some broken noses, led to some bloody jerseys. It was kind of an absolute mess, but we were thankful to get these guys post-game, and they were gracious enough to give us a few minutes of their time. We're going to play those for you next segment here on Rock Chalk Sports. Following that, we're going to take a brief tangent, little brief sidestep away from that game in particular, but we are still going to keep it topical with our Top 10 Tuesday.
Yeah, it just so happened that this was the top 10 today.
Yeah.
Crazy that that's the case. I'm doing my top 10 athletes I don't want to mess with.
All right, you've done this for mascots before.
I did mascots I think I could beat in a fight from most likely to least likely. I think I started off with the Syracuse Orange and the Ohio State Buckeye because those are both a fruit and a nut, respectively.
Isn't that a
And then I
Buckeye?
wound up, I think number 1 was the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. There's no way I could beat a Golden Hurricane in a fight.
Yeah.
A hurricane made of gold? You kidding me? How much does that weigh?
This was an interesting segment, and I'm good if we do not do it again. It was very
I
interesting.
liked it.
Then you also did top 10
I started to
mascots that you
lose.
could
I started
beat
to
in a fight.
Yeah, I started to lose at duck.
Yeah. Duck,
Yeah, but
right.
yeah, it was like
duck
orange
could be-
nut, and then it was like duck. I was like,
Yeah.
this is when I start to lose, guys.
Strange segment. But this segment, the athletes you don't want to mess with, I think you got to hold off on boxers or wrestlers, right?
No boxers or wrestlers
Like
on my athletes
you ain't
that I
beating
don't
the
want.
Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. He's gonna give me some little sweet chin music.
Yeah, I'm telling you, can't do it.
Yeah, no way. I mean, no way. Yeah,
over.
so no boxers or like MMA fighters or wrestlers or anything like that. These are like football, basketball players, golfers.
A baseball player in there, perhaps?
I don't.
How do you not have him on there? He had one of the biggest.
You're right.
No. I'll save him for my honorable mention. Couple baseball players that should be on there, but
he's on honorable mention.
That's why we chat. That's why we argue. Top 10 Tuesday. After that, we're hoping to get David Lesky on from Inside the Crown. Still waiting on confirmation for that via Zoom. David will talk a little Royals baseball with us, and we're in the market for a weekly Chiefs guest soon as well. We've had a couple of Chiefs insiders. Of course, Nick Springer, Kansas City Sports Network. He does some work with the Chiefs Radio Network. We have him on every Monday. We've had Felix Johnson on the show as well for Arrowhead Pride.
That's right.
So hoping to get a consistent guest as Chiefs football will be here very, very soon. Following that, more basketball talk here on Rock Chalk Sports. We're talking Melvin Council, some potential news that came out regarding Melvin trying to get an additional year of eligibility. And I also want to talk late night in the Phog as well, the news that came out last week. There's some scuttlebutt as well regarding a potential third exhibition game for Kansas, as that's now an option. And when you look at the schedule, this tells me it's going to happen, Dan. You look at the schedule, October 16th is when KU is holding the late night in the Phog Pitt State hybrid exhibition game.
Yes.
And then October 21st is when the Fighting Badungas come to town and hopefully get booed out of the city on the 21st, which is a Wednesday. And then Kansas doesn't play their first game until early November. So I'm guessing there will be a third exhibition game for KU. I'm not saying it's going to be the Razorbacks like we're hearing. It might be. I'm not saying it's going to be Duke like we're hearing it might be, but there are some potential opponents there for KU.
Yeah, so according to Michael Swain, he said apparently John Calipari let it slip. He was just like, yeah, we're playing something. He's like, I think we're playing Kansas. I don't know.
How much more do you like Calipari now that he's not at Kentucky?
I mean, the bar was low.
Right.
I guess more.
I don't know. He seems.
But I still don't like him.
Well, yeah, they beat us a couple years ago. But still, I don't know. I kind of like that Kentucky has suffered so much, and it weirdly makes me like Calipari more.
Yeah,
because he's a good coach. Is he a sleazeball? Yes.
Yeah.
But still,
it kind of makes him fun.
I mean, he's away from Kentucky. They wanted him out. I get it. They didn't have NCAA tournament success, but now they're sinking, and it's great.
Yeah. I will say this. According to Michael Swain, 24/7 Sports, he said, despite what Calipari says, I'm told not to expect Arkansas and KU to face off in an exhibition this season. But there could be another one.
Right.
So who knows?
And, it's hard to know what to believe because what was it, an hour or two before that, we're hearing, hey, Calipari said Arkansas and KU are going to play. So we'll keep you updated anything we hear on that front. But, yeah, we'll talk a lot of basketball today. Hey, KansasNation.com is the place to be. If you follow us, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, at the Kansas Nation or Kansas Nation on Facebook, you would have seen a lot of great clips last night that we were able to get over at Charles Koch Arena in Wichita. I mentioned those exclusive interviews, but we've got some videos of I don't know what other adjective I can use. Have we said fracas yet? I don't think
we haven't said
that one yet.
fracas. I said skirmish on the post.
Scuffle.
Scrum.
Yeah. Fight.
Ooh, good one. Write that down.
Disagreement, I think, would be a good one.
Yeah.
There were a few disagreements last night.
A gentleman's interaction.
No, it was not that.
No.
It was not that. It also was not good, clean fun.
It
by
was
any
not good,
stretch.
clean fun.
Like
That's true.
I said that we were back in the concourse watching the JHX Hoops players, vacate the building, and then walked back out to the court, and finally the fans had dissipated, and there were, I don't know, maybe 10 media staff on the court still at most, and some people cleaning up trash in the stands. But I just walked back out to a quiet Devlin court, and I was like, man, that was not good, clean fun.
No,
it was not. It was a weird game. The quality of basketball is certainly not like you're watching the current Jayhawks at Allen Fieldhouse for numerous reasons. You don't have the chemistry. You don't have quite the talent. You don't have the coaching, all that sort of thing.
Well,
it's a different deal, but it was a fun atmosphere and good to be there.
You did say, because you were apprehensive at first, and then you saw Frank pass it over to Mario.
Right.
Mario drove in, hit an and one.
Yeah.
And you said, all right.
That
was like the one more you're like, all right, that was cool.
That was pretty cool for sure. But no, there were cool moments, and there is a lot of exciting storylines regarding it. Like Zeke Mayo, he grew up a KU fan, watching Frank Mason ball out and win National Player of the Year, and now. Those two and Jacob Hanna are probably the three best players on this JHX Hoops team. And, so there were some fun moments. And, I don't know that many KU fans will become the biggest fans ever of the basketball tournament. I think Wichita State fans, for whatever reason, have absolutely loved it. But it's growing here for KU.
Yeah.
And the fact that you got Frank Mason back, the fact that Sherron Collins is the head coach, and Mario Chalmers is playing. I mean, there's growing interest in it, and certainly the fact that they're winning makes it more fun. And now it's like, wow, well, I want to see these guys play. And like you said, what I mentioned as my wow, that was such a cool moment of Frank Mason assisting Mario Chalmers on an and one. I'm like, all right, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So it was fun, and they didn't quite fill the building at Koch Arena, but upwards of 7,500, I say, maybe as much as 9,000. I'll have to see if they set a official attendance number. But, we're going to get into the game. Strange night.
Do you know what they need a little bit of?
What's that?
Love & Co.
Love & Co., yes. Dan and I were supposed to go to, shout out to Cody Ladson, by the way. We were supposed to go to Piatto's Pizza.
Yes.
Which I didn't know anything about, but I spent probably 45 minutes on the drive down there looking at the menu.
You did.
And listing off to you. You lost the coin flip yesterday on air, so you had to drive.
Yes.
But listing off the potential pizzas for this Piatto's place. I even called them. I said, hey, what's the wait going to be? And I called them when we were probably an hour out, which was a mistake. Because she's like, it's not that busy in here. If you get here in 20 minutes, I'm sure it won't take that. We walked into this place, and it was completely packed. It's not a huge building, but there was no chance.
No.
It was like 6:30 at the time. Like, there's no chance, even though we were going to order right away, that we were going to we're going to be stressing out.
They even had a bar, and the bar was full.
Yeah. And again, you and I aren't the type of people that it takes us a significantly long time to eat.
Yeah.
I mean, the longest part was going to be just waiting for the pie.
Yes.
And then 5 minutes later, we would have eaten it.
It'd
But
be in
anyway,
my belly.
we weren't able to sit down, so we walked out, and we're like, well, what are we going to do now? We don't have a ton of time. We don't really want to go to McDonald's or, Pizza Hut. We did look into Pizza Ranch. I was interested in that, but it was on the other side, so didn't want to go over there. But we ended up at this really weird place called Love & Co. I go to the bathroom. I come back out, and the table that Dan chose lined up perfectly with this absolutely gorgeous heart artwork to where it looks like we're on a incredibly romantic date.
Yeah.
Because I take a picture of you, and I post it on my Instagram story. Follow me, by the way, at Sean Kellerman 22. I've got like no posts, but my kids are cute.
Nice
They're
plug.
on there.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is hilarious. Dan happened to pick the table that right behind him is this beautiful heart.
Yeah.
So I took a picture and posted it on my story. I'm like, I don't know how he ended up here.
It was
but
really weird because when you walk in, we're like, oh, like this is not a place. Like this is do they even have food here? Because you walked in, and this guy they had like this like weird like plastic cooler like sitting right kind of towards the corner, and there's just a guy standing behind there. He was like, hey guys. I'm like, hey. He's like, oh yeah, you can just like order up here. Like
there's one random menu on a table.
You know what it looked like? It looked like a fake like club setup you would see in like a reality TV show.
They're playing loud music.
Yeah,
but
the
there were
music
also
was incredibly
tables who were
loud.
playing board games.
Yeah.
It was weird.
There was only one table over there with like 6 other people. They were blaring music. They had a whole microphone set up and everything. And we asked for waters, and they gave us waters in like low ball cups with 2 straws.
Right.
And I was like, what?
It was interesting. But, they had decently priced menu, and the food was great. We told them we would shout them out because the food was very good. I got the chicken tenders. You got a chicken sandwich, and it took us 5 minutes to eat. Bam, we're out the door heading to Coke Arena. But, yeah, interesting deal there. Next time we'll make sure we get to Piato's or get a reservation or something because your boy, Cody Ladson, he talked that up a lot. Anyway, then we had to hit Casey's on the way home for being hungry. We got to talk about, to start this off, the emotions of this game. First off, and we'll go through the game, 64-59. The important thing from a basketball standpoint, JHX Hoops finds a way to advance further than they ever have. They're in the semifinals of the basketball tournament, which this year means they are in the championship of the alumni side. So they will take on La Familia, which is the Kentucky alums, Wednesday at 6. It's tomorrow at 6 o'clock. You can watch the live stream via audio. I guess I should say you should listen to the audio via kansasnation.com. But JHX Hoops, not viewed as a favorite in this game. It was a close game throughout, really good atmosphere. There was a situation in the second quarter where multiple players got ejected from both sides. And we'll talk about that. Important comment, though, from you, Dan, on, I guess, the wherewithal of JHX Hoops, despite all the adversity, all the emotions, getting it done, again culminating for the 3rd consecutive game, and Frank Mason providing the dagger, the Elam ending. Zeke Mayo was huge down the stretch, and then Mason again wins it for JHX Hoops.
Yeah, I mean, Zeke Mayo had 25 points in this game. That's his 2nd game in a row where he's gone. I think he had 25 in the last game, too. He's either 23 or 25. I can't remember exactly what the number was, but 10 for 20 from the field, 3 for 9 from the three-point line. I mean, Zeke Mayo was really good. He was able to drive the ball, get to the hoop, hit some mid-rangers. I mean, I thought Zeke Mayo maybe was the best pure scorer in this game. I mean, you look what Jacob Hanna did, 5 for 13 from the field. It's not great, but he had 15 points in this game, 6 rebounds as well. We've talked about Jacob Hanna, about how much you can tell he kind of cares about this because you don't see scrappy guards like that grabbing. I mean, he's got to be averaging like 6 or 7 rebounds per game because that's just what he does. He crashes the boards. He's really tough in terms of getting to the rim. And I mean, he's been a lot of fun to watch. And then Frank Mason, I mean, talk about a guy who.
Now here's a guy.
No, he doesn't let it affect him whatsoever. Like in terms of poor shooting performances, he's put up 4 really bad shooting performances. I'll go ahead and say that. And that's not out of the realm of possibility, and he'll be the first one to tell you that. 5 for 21 from the field. 3 for 8 from the three-point line. But if you look at the Elam ending, 2 of those 3 3-pointers came in the Elam ending, and 2 of his 5 field goals made came in the Elam ending, and those were those 3-pointers as well. So before that, he was 2 for 4 in the Elam. My goodness. He was, let's see, 3
He
for...
started 1 for 13 in this game.
He started 1 for 13 in this game. I mean, just a terrible shooting performance by Frank Mason. You were seeing it, and he was getting good looks. The shots just were not falling. He winds up with 13 points in this game, but we've seen it time and time again, at least specifically in these last 3 games that we've seen Frank Mason have terrible shooting performances, but he comes in clutch at the end, right? Where he's able to drive in, put up an awesome shot, and winds up winning the game. And that's just the true competitor in him, where it gets down to crunch time. Frank Mason's going to take it over. It doesn't matter if he's 0 for 80. He's going to try to take over this game, and he's going to give you what you need to get you to that next level. So you love that about Frank Mason. You try to criticize him, but at the same time you go, I mean, he's got it. He's got that clutch gene in him.
Well, and that's the thing is you want him taking your shots. You want Mason and Mayo and Hannah taking your shots, and that's how it's going to be. We talked about how the bigs need to be better for JHX Hoops, and they had some good moments. I thought Andrew Orr had a nice game. He didn't, play a ton, but he had a bigger role down the stretch when JHX Hoops was down to just 6 players. He had a couple nice deflections. But, yeah, Grady Dick was in these stands last night at Coke Arena, and he – one of the best shooters that Kansas has ever had. The mentality of great shooters, great scorers is you don't care about your misses, right? And that's how it is. Frank Mason was 1 for 13. You think he knew or cared that he was 1 for 13 when he stepped up and hit that 3?
No.
Not at all. That was absolutely massive. Zeke Mayo was huge. These guards are absolutely carrying JHX Hoops. They are. And, let's get into this as they got it done. At the beginning, it was actually Jamari Traylor saying, let's let Jamari Traylor cook. Right?
Yeah.
Jamari Traylor had 3 of the first 4 buckets for JHX Hoops, got up 8-2. You knew that the Aftershocks would go on a little bit of a run, and they would take a lead at 11-10. Following the first media timeout, I thought the Aftershocks were doing a really good job harassing the JHX Hoops guards, but JHX Hoops continued to grind. Jacob Hannah had a tough take and floater to make it 12-11. And then Frank Mason had a nice steal and left-handed layup off the glass for his lone make of those first 13 field goal attempts to make it 14-11. We went to toward the end of the first quarter when that play that we discussed, Mason finding Mario Chalmers for an and one off the glass. He would miss the free throw. It was 16-14. Had a replay review, knew there would be a few of those. But after Morris Udeze of the Aftershocks went 1 for 2 at the line, it was 16-15 JHX Hoops at the end of the first quarter. And this is where it gets really interesting. The teams kind of exchanged baskets. Zeke Mayo hit 3 threes. He hit a deep one to put JHX Hoops on top, 20-19. Marcus Keene hit a deep 2 for the Aftershocks to put them ahead by 1. And then Andrew Orr, a post up off the glass, one of the few back-to-the-basket buckets that JHX Hoops had all day, put JHX Hoops up 22-21. It was 23-22 Aftershocks when the first major scuffle happened. 2:45 to go in the second quarter. Both teams got down to 6 players. The Aftershocks had 5 guys ejected, and JHX Hoops had 4 guys ejected. The 4 guys for JHX Hoops, Mario Chalmers, Jamari Traylor, Kevin Young, and Tradeon Hollins. The latter 2 don't really play. And I asked Sherron Collins after the game when we got down to 6v6, which is essentially what it was, what did you say to your team? And he said, I like our 6. And you and I had the same conversation. We were like, hey, our best players are still out there. You still have Mayo and Mason and Hannah. You can find a way to get it done. On the flip side, for the Aftershocks, you lost guys like QJ Peterson and James Woodard. Essentially, after a 20-minute delay or whatever it was, the officials decided that anybody involved in the initial scrum, which included Rashard Kelly, who was also ejected, and Mario Chalmers, plus anybody who removed themselves from the bench to join this scrum was going to be ejected. And it almost played in the favor of JHX Hoops that the scrum was on their side, because you could very clearly see, it was toward the bench of JHX Hoops. You could very clearly see who left the bench on the other side of the court from the Aftershocks. But still, you had 3 guys off the bench for JHX Hoops get ejected. I was shocked when I was like, wow, this is, a tournament that there's a lot on the line. We're trying to win $2 million here, and you just canned 6 guys, or canned 9 guys in total, and got both teams down to 6 guys. So weird kind of toward the end of the half, but your reaction, Dan, when that happened, because at that point it was just kind of a surreal moment in a night that was full of a lot of weird moments.
Yeah, I mean, Mario Chalmers did nothing wrong, right? I mean, Rashad Kelly threw him into the wall, and they tossed Mario. The PA guy did a good job in terms of building the suspense, because he said, we got a double technical against Rashad Kelly and Mario Chalmers. Both of them will be ejected from the game for fighting. And everyone who came off the bench. And we were like, whoa, like that's, I just didn't really kind of expect that, right? I thought maybe Billy, because Billy kind of came in a little hot and fell over and got on some guys. But at the same time, like, I think he was really lucky, the fact that KU's essentially 5 best players were out there on the floor when that happened, right? I mean, you had Frank Mason and Zeke Mayo and Jacob Hanna, and, you know, I think Billy and Carlton Bragg were out there. Andrew Orr, I don't think, left the bench. I mean, it was like you did kind of get lucky in terms of that aspect, where, like you said, the Aftershocks lost some really nice players who came off the bench, like QJ Peterson, right? I mean, you had a number of different guys who wound up leaving for them. Trey Wade, who doesn't really play a whole heck of a lot, like he was like the only guy left on the bench. He actually still wound up with 2 minutes in this game. So yeah, it was just, I mean, it's so weird, and it shouldn't have happened in the first place. I thought it was a bad move by Rashad Kelly to throw Mario on the ground like that. Again, Mario did nothing wrong. Mario wasn't trying to fight. Mario was just trying to get the rebound, and then he got thrown into the wall, and they wind up ejecting him, right? And then when that happens, like, you're obviously like gonna go try to protect your guys. So I understand why the bench is cleared like that, but I also understand why you know, toss everyone when the bench is clear like that, because things can get ugly fast, which is kind of what we saw a little bit at the end of the game. But I mean, like Sherron said, you got down to 6v6, and we were looking at it. You and I were talking during the game. We were thinking, we really got lucky, because these 6 guys are essentially the best guys that JHX Hoops has to offer right now. I mean, it sucks that you lost Jamari Traylor. I think Jamari Traylor could have added a little bit of something, especially down low. But the guard play, I mean, imagine if you would have lost Frank or Jacob Hanna or Zeke Mayo in that game, there's no way JHX Hoops wins.
I mean, where we're sitting courtside, the first thing we're doing is, you know, trying to figure out where all the players are going. And I saw Jamari go to the tunnel, and, you know, you knew Chalmers was gone too. But I'm looking at, okay, who is staying on the court right now? And the first guy I'm looking for is Frank Mason, right?
Yeah.
Like, you got to have Frank Mason out there. I don't think he came out last night at all, even before the guys were ejected. But then you're like, okay, who's Zeke Mayo? And then you see Jacob Hanna, and you're like, okay,
he
we're all right.
41 minutes.
Yeah. Not too bad. So he continues to be the straw that stirs the drink for this team. And again, 3 straight times he has the Elam ending. It wasn't great basketball. Like I said, there were a lot of missed free throws. In fact, JHX Hoops missed 7 of the first 10 free throws. In the first half, as we went to the break with the Aftershocks up by 2 at 27-25, the Aftershocks led the rebounding battle 27-18, but they also had 8 turnovers. JHX Hoops only had 2. That was a story throughout. You could kind of see the chemistry problems with the Aftershocks, and a lot of times they just chucked it into the stands. And again, that kept JHX Hoops in it, despite, you know, not competing as well as they would have liked to on the glass. Get to the beginning of the second half, again, really choppy. You had missed free throws on both sides. Zeke Mayo hits a 3 to tie this game at 31. And then a little bit of a run for the Aftershocks. Back-to-back buckets from Marcus Keene, a take and then a 3, made it 36-31. 4:21 to go, another kind of little mini skirmish between Trey Wade and Billy Preston. There was some jersey grabbing, had to go back to the monitor. Nothing major came of that, I don't think, in terms of them at least being removed from the game. The game continued, and the Aftershocks would build their biggest lead at 38-32, but then Zeke Mayo, a couple huge shots. He hits a 3, has a take in transition, 38-37, and I'll continue to go through this, but you and I, driving home from Wichita last night, we were like, Zeke is better than he was at Kansas. I mean, you can see he has even improved his game. He's able to drive a little bit more like you spoke of. He just looks more comfortable and has always been a confident knockdown shooter from deep.
Yeah, and, I think in the first 3 games that you saw, the 2 in Bramlage and the 1 at Lee Arena, I mean, the shots weren't falling for Zeke, and you can tell he was getting kind of frustrated. But he was getting open looks. I mean, he was getting really good looks, and this is the game where I think you started to really see it come about. And then you kind of saw him not settling for those threes, where if he has an open 3, you want Zeke Mayo to shoot it, and he winds up going 3 for 9, which isn't terrible. But whenever he's wide open like that, he'll put the ball on the ground and drive in, and you saw a nice little spin cycle at the end, like right before the Elam ending to, get JHX Hoops, I think, up 55-54. I mean, he was doing a really good job in terms of getting to the rim, which is something that you didn't really see at Kansas. Now, he has a year of experience in the G League with the Cleveland Charge, so maybe there's a little bit more development and a little bit more, coaching in terms of him putting the ball on the ground, him being more aggressive towards the basket. So that's something that you probably learn overall, especially when you play extended periods of time like you do in the G League and then obviously in the Summer League with the Hawks. So, I think you're absolutely right. I think he has gotten to be a much better player than he was when he was at Kansas.
Yeah, great to see, and more on him here in a little bit. Game got close. In fact, it was tied 39-all. When Washington would hit a 3 for the Aftershocks, answered immediately by Frank Mason. Again, kind of cool, calm, and collected. 42-42. The game would be tied again when Frank had a take off the glass at 44-all. 4 straight free throws at the end of the third quarter, I think, were huge in this one. Jacob Hanna made all 4 of them after getting fouled twice and going to the line. I thought Frank waking up there toward the end of the third quarter, Zeke hitting those shots, Hanna being gritty, solid, and a couple nice gritty plays that I wrote down from Andrew Orr as well. Those were important. Yeah. The bigs weren't fantastic in this game for JHX Hoops, but they did enough. They rebounded it better in the second half. To start the fourth quarter, it was the former Jayhawk and Aftershock, who has played for them forever, Connor Frankamp hitting a 3 to put JHX Hoops up by only 1. The teams would exchange free throws, and then eventually, after Marcos Santos Silva had a bucket underneath, it was 51-50 Aftershocks, getting close to the Elam ending here, getting close to that under 4 timeout. Zeke, after a broken play, went his way, had a take to the basket to make it 52-51 JHX Hoops. Again, a million lead changes in this game. McDuffie had a take to put the Aftershocks up by 1, but then Zeke, again, a part of 8 consecutive JHX Hoops Zeke Mayo points, had a taken floater to put the good guys up by 1, and then through contact, another thing he didn't do a lot at Kansas, put JHX Hoops up 56-53. After a Washington take to cut the JHX Hoops lead to 1, the Aftershocks called a timeout because it was under 4 minutes, meaning they wanted to go to the under 4, knowing that dead ball would mean the Elam ending would be set.
Correct.
64 was set, and it was 56-55 good guys. Zeke would have a pull-up 2 to end his 8 consecutive JHX Hoops points, 58-53. Keene would get fouled on a 3 by Hanna, but he would only make 2 of 3. It was 58-57, and then the teams would kind of exchange sloppy play and timeouts, and it was Frank Mason following 2 timeouts, hitting a big 3 at 61-57. Santos Silva down low would score 61-59, but Kansas had the ball, and at that point, Dan, you're thinking, all right, we're going for the 3. It's just kind of the mindset in this situation. You don't know how many more possessions you're going to get. You're going to go for the 3, and you know that 0 is going to take that 3.
I was going to say it was worst case scenario getting to 3 away from the Elam ending, because we saw this in Lee Arena where Purple Rain and JHX Hoops were just chucking.
Oh, absolutely.
Both of them were. They were 3 points away, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like it's gonna be brutal. So I was like, all right, you got to get to 4 or 2. That's the magic number, because then you extend the court a little bit, right? You're able to do some more things, and the defense gets a little bit more spread out, as opposed to when you only need 3 points to win. Guess what? They're guarding the 3 super heavy, and everyone's trying to force some stuff. But
that's where they screwed up.
That's where they screwed up.
Marcos Santos Silva, hedging a ball screen, is for some reason switching. When you're playing in a tournament where you're trying to win $2 million, he's switching, and the defender behind him wasn't close enough to Frank. Frank was from the logo. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
But Frank at that point, like you said, you're down by 3. You're pulling up and shooting that shot. And for the third consecutive game in this tournament, it is a Frank Mason walk-off. And then kind of more post-game disaster happened after that. But JHX Hoops won 64-59. And I'll let you kind of touch on the post-game scuffle, whatever you want to call it. There were certain elements involving Jacob Hanna and Marcus Keene, involving Billy Preston as well. But how it's been in TBT, and everybody knows this, players, coaches, fans, etc., with the Elam ending, every game is going to be a walk-off.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Every game is going to be a walk-off, meaning you are going to have a celebration following a walk-off, as teams do in any sport. So that's one of the exciting things about the Elam ending. Mason walks it off, and when that happens, the opposing team is supposed to completely remove themselves from the floor. The home team's going to celebrate. Like Sherron Collins said post-game, whether it's Wichita, K-State, or us, we're going to celebrate. The losing team has to remove themselves from the court. And they didn't fully remove themselves from the court. In fact, Keene a couple different times shoved Hanna, and then there was Billy Preston issues as well, but kind of break down what you saw down there courtside.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what I saw. I saw a bunch of sore losers. That's what I saw. I mean, Wichita State, Aftershocks, they won the basketball tournament last year in 2025, and they really do care about it. They're going to hang a banner for it. I mean, this is like their biggest thing that they got going on right now, which I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, this is massive for them. Obviously, you saw how many Wichita State fans came out and supported their Aftershocks in the basketball tournament. So when you get walked off on your home court, it's not a great feeling. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's just a basketball game. You know what I mean? And you could tell, like, they were just sore losers. They wanted to run it back. The emotions were high. You already had the scuffle at the beginning. You were down to 6 players. So all these guys were just completely gassed. And to lose it like that, I'm sure it sucks, but you can't be going around shoving guys and fighting guys. And I mean, there's children out there. Like Mario Chalmers' kid was out there. Like Billy Preston's kid was out. Like that,
let's just call it how it is. We were in the concourses and we saw multiple kids in tears following
yeah, absolutely.
This. Daughters,
yeah.
Sisters.
Yeah, I mean, it was such an insane thing. And then like Wichita State, I guess, after the game, like they tried to get everyone to go back to the locker room, and the Wichita State apparently was trying to run back around the arena and meet up JHX Hoops in their locker room. Jacob Hanna got absolutely cheap shotted by Marcus Keene.
Yeah.
But I'm all for like, hey, whatever, but like that was like straight up assault, and he wound up shoving Jacob Hanna into the JHX Hoops social media person. Jamari Traylor put out a tweet, said that she was in bad shape, looked like she broke her nose. She's definitely going to need some stitches. She actually wound up going to the hospital yesterday. And that was because Marcus Keene shoved Jacob Hanna into her. And you saw it, Zeke Mayo, because we were in the concourses, we were like following the team around, which we kind of got lucky a little bit because apparently like they were not letting media back there.
They didn't go to the podium at all.
Yeah, they didn't go to the podium. They weren't letting media even into the concourses if you were out there. But Sean and I were like actually just kind of slipped through after the game. You heard Zeke Mayo after the game saying, hey, we're allowed to celebrate. It's not our fault that they're sore losers. Yeah. We're allowed to celebrate. We can run around because that's what happens in an Elam ending. When it's Elam ending, everything is a game winner, and the emotions are high. And you're allowed to go around and pump your fists and wave goodbye to the crowd. And like you said, the losing team should completely remove themselves from the situation. But they just didn't want to accept the fact that they weren't going to run it back this year in the basketball tournament. They were sore losers. That's the only way to describe this. Marcus Keene, you're a sore loser. Rashad Kelly's a sore loser. All of those guys are losers, sore losers. They're. I mean, it's just there's no place for that, and especially the basketball tournament. You know what I mean?
Well, again, it's so funny because it's true, and it sounds elementary. You and I were talking about this, but that's what it is. They're being sore losers. I mean, it's like what your teachers tell you in 6th grade. Like if you're going to complain about the officials or if you're going to complain about something that went wrong, sometimes you just lose.
Yeah, and
it's like, you got to accept that and move on, and they couldn't do it. And Marcus Keene, what is his future going to look like in TBT or in professional basketball? I mean, that's just absolutely terrible. And then he goes to Twitter after the fact and essentially brags about how he shoved Jacob Hanna, which By the way, I don't know if the first shove was, but the second shove was completely blindsided.
Yeah.
I mean, such a cheap shot. And again, it affects the social media person for JHX Hoops, who we wish the best for. But you saw Hannah after the game. We posted on our social media. His jersey was completely bloodied. And yeah, there was commotion in the concourse, like I said, by the locker room of, supposedly the Aftershocks players, not all of them, but some of them, looking for the locker room. It's like, what are we doing here? And, it reminded me of the Silvio De Sousa situation that every KU fan remembers, back in, 5-6 years ago, whenever it was, where the story should have been, the Elam ending. And that's why it was important for me to still go through the game, is Frank Mason doing this. And the fact that JHX Hoops is still in this thing, and they're 2 wins away from winning $2 million, but it just leaves a sour feeling because you're focused on the aftermath. And, yes, that's the bigger story in the minds of a lot of media, but it was, not a great basketball game, but it was a competitive basketball game, and it was an entertaining basketball game. And it's sad that Marcus Keene and a lot of people involved, like I said, there were Wichita State fans who at one point grabbed Billy Preston, and then Billy Preston, had to be held back. Understandably, Sherron Collins said with me post-game that, guys are competing, but it got to a point where it was too personal and it got too intense. And, who knows the things that TBT as an organization is going to do moving forward, but you can't have that.
No.
There's got to be something in play to prevent that from happening. And you don't want that to be the story, but you certainly don't want people getting hurt, including people who weren't even in the game and kids who were there.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I mean, you have people in the stands who are grabbing at players. Like, that's just unacceptable. You know what I mean? And, the whole thing. Here's the thing. JHX Hoops walked off Purple Rain in their arena. And you know what they did? They went around and they celebrated. And you have a lunatic in Michael Beasley who accepted the loss. You know what I mean? Like, all those K-State players, all those former K-State players, they were like, all right, we got beat. And then after the game, they were all, kind of around talking to each other after the game and different things like that. Like, K-State in Purple Rain, they accepted the loss because they're not sore losers. Wichita State, they just couldn't accept the fact that they had lost on their home court, and it was just so embarrassing for them that they had to go and wind up fighting. And then you had Marcus McDuffie going on Twitter also saying, like, oh, why are you a woman standing around when we're fighting? It's like, well, you shouldn't be fighting in the first place. It's a basketball game. You guys lost. Take your loss and go home. It's over. It's over for you. I'm sorry if you can't accept that, but you're a sore-ass loser.
Man, what a weird and yet entertaining night in the basketball tournament. Certainly an experience that I never thought I would be a part of, but there we were. And again, if you missed any of our content, check us out on social media as well. But yeah, after this, we are going to play those interviews that we got post-game. The head coach, Sherron Collins, and the 3 times over game winner, Frank Mason. That's coming up next on Rock Chalk Sports. Thanks for listening on ESPN Kansas City and watching KansasNation.com.
Hey, Kansas fans, Coach Bill Self here, and you're watching KansasNation.com.
Celebrate the summer with savings at Crown Toyota. BZ models, 0% APR with a $500 cash incentive. RAV4 models, 4.99% APR. 2026 Toyota Tacoma, 3.99% APR. Get into a 2026 Tundra for 2.99% APR.
Together, we're elevating our potential, our pride, our traditions, and our dreams. Together, we're opening up a whole new world of possibilities. Elevate your University of Kansas experience with Jayhawk checking from Central Bank. Central Bank and KU, elevating together.
You work hard and play hard. With a new Can-Am side-by-side from Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment, you can haul, tow, and hustle from dusk to dawn without slowing down a bit. Get one for a lot less during the Can-Am Fresh Deals for Summer event, going on now through July 31st. Save up to $1,500 on select 2026 Can-Am Defender models. Hardworking, low maintenance, and built to take a beating. And the prices are hard to beat right now at Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment in Lawrence.
Jayhawk fans, if you haven't started to follow Kansas Nation on social, now is the time. Facebook, Instagram, X, it's Kansas Nation, and online at kansasnation.com for the latest news and information on your Kansas Jayhawks. Interviews, news conferences, daily and weekly shows, podcasts. Find it all at Kansas Nation and kansasnation.com. kansasnation.com is presented by Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. Step up your game with Game Day Men's Health Lawrence.
Welcome back to Rock Chalk Sports. I want to tell you about Joslin's Jewelry. They have been locally owned for over 40 years. Gary Joslin and the entire Joslin family, proud to have earned the trust of 3 generations of customers. The jeweler you will recommend to your friends and family, that is their reputation. You wouldn't believe how many customers come in and say they were quoted $400 to fix a ring, and it's under $200 at Joslin's to fix the same ring. So if you need a chain or other items fixed, they can do it while you wait very quickly right there. They're at 95th and Antioch, right in front of the big grocery store, so you can't miss them. You will recommend them to your friends and family. Partners of us here at Kansas Nation, Joslin's Jewelry. All right, what an emotional night it was last night at Charles Koch Arena in Wichita. JHX Hoops, though, they are on to the semifinals of the basketball tournament, 2 wins away from the $2 million prize. Let's go back to Charles Koch Arena. I had a chance to catch up with JHX Hoops head coach Sherron Collins after the win. Sean Kellerman here with Kansas Nation. Post-game, JHX Hoops victory over the Aftershocks, 64-59, joined by head coach Sherron Collins. A lot of intensity in this game, obviously high emotions. You guys get it done at the end. Just kind of take us through this one, the ejections in the second quarter, and you guys ultimately figuring it out.
I just, the injections it always sucks because guys just being competitors, and a little scuffle happens. It's basketball. It's a little physical. But within the guys, just keep it basketball. I think they got too personal with each other, and then it escalated. Again, TBT handled the job. They ejected a couple of our guys, ejected a couple of their guys, so they acted the right way. They was fair. And, we just, had to play the hand we was dealt, and we came out on top.
What was your message when both teams were down to 6 players in that second quarter?
I like our 6. Unfortunate that happened, but I think that gave us the upper hand. I think our 6 was better than their 6.
Yeah, and then take us kind of through the end of the game. Frank hit some huge shots. Zeke had 8 consecutive, and those guys really showed out, even if it wasn't the most efficient game before that.
We knew they was going to do that. Today was a win to go home. Everything's a win to go home. We just waiting on Frank and Zeke to get going, and you could call them the Endem heroes or whatever you want to call the Elam heroes, but when that fourth quarter comes, it's winning time. They lock in, and those guys go carry us to victory. So those 2 was big for us today.
And we know job's not finished, but kind of take us back to that first game. You guys took it on the chin at Bramlage Coliseum. Since then, you've really seemed like come together as a team, gotten good chemistry, and now it's on to Kentucky on Wednesday.
Yeah. First game, I think I wouldn't say we overlooked them, but we didn't respect them enough. And they hit us in the mouth, which they should have. But we went back and watched film, and we had bad starts every game. All 3 of those games we had bad starts, but we knew we had to win in the Elam and keep it close. And anytime we got the game close, we know we can get stops and win the game.
Yeah. And last thing for you, I know it's right off an emotional victory, but kind of next step now, taking on Kentucky on Wednesday, the message to the team once you come down from this win.
Job not finished. Can't be satisfied. Stay hungry. Kentucky's a good team. They're going to guard. They're long. They got some shooters. They got kind of everything that you need. So we'll get to the film. We'll watch them, and we'll go prepare and be ready for them. But it's going to be a tough game and an even tougher atmosphere.
Coach, really appreciate your time. Congrats and good luck moving forward.
Thank you.
All right, that's my conversation with Sherron Collins following JHX Hoops' 64-59 victory over the Aftershocks in the basketball tournament. In the quarterfinals, the game winner again for JHX Hoops was hit by the first-team All-American National Player of the Year from back in 2017, Frank Mason. And our Dan Courtwright caught up with him after the win.
Daniel Courtwright here with Kansas Nation alongside Frank Mason. Frank, that's 3 in a row, man. 3 Elam-ending game winners. Walk us through what you saw in that last possession.
I saw a guy come up and set a screen. The secondary defender kind of stepped back, and, I just pulled it, because I hit one right before that.
Yeah. Emotional game, obviously, but you're on to La Familia over in Lexington. I mean, talk about just making it all the way to this point in the basketball tournament.
Oh, yeah, I knew the previous 3 years, our team haven't made it past the third round, I think. So just to get to that fourth and fifth game is a really exciting feeling, and we're just looking forward to taking care of business in Lexington.
Absolutely. Thanks, Frank. Appreciate it.
That's Frank Mason post-game, as it was a strange situation with JHX Hoops players trying to get out the door and on the bus as soon as possible. They did what they needed to do. They advanced, and now tomorrow at 6, they will take on La Familia, the Kentucky alums. It's a dream come true for the basketball tournament on the alumni side.
Yeah,
Kansas
no
alums
kidding.
and Kentucky alums. And then the other 4 teams that are still in it are all on the non-alum side. Davis Steel, Red Rose War Ready, and then Heartfire Elite and the Mecca. I should point this out. I heard this via Stan Weber last night. Whoever wins the Alumni Championship, which is a semifinal in this thing, will get to host the championship, the game where the winner gets a $2 million prize. And we assume if JHX Hoops wins, then that means that their home arena, which has been Lee Arena in Topeka, will house the championship. Of course, it'll be Rupp Arena if La Familia were to knock off our guys. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. JHX Hoops and La Familia tomorrow at 6. More TBT talk coming, and we'll talk KU basketball for this upcoming season later in the show as well. But after this, in honor of that weird brawl, fracas, scrum, scuffle, whatever you want to call it last night, Dan's got a Top 10 Tuesday. That's next on ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com.
I'm Cade Baldridge, and you're watching KansasNation.com.
Get 0.9% APR or a $3,500 customer bonus on 2026 Atlas models. 2026 Atlas Crossport 3.9% APR or $3,500 customer bonus. 26 Tiguan models now 1.9% APR or a $2,500 customer bonus.
At the heart of a city lies the restless, the visionaries, the bold. From redefining events to guiding local youth, providing lifelines of industry, or reshaping wellness across the region, you deserve a financial partner that matches your ambition. At Meritrust, we handle the finances, so you can take care of the bold. Meritrust Credit Union. Business, banking, bold.
Hello, it's Mark Whitlow from Office Products Alliance. OPA is not just your local office products connection. We have expanded our offerings to network cabling installation, security cameras, door access, and IT services. We all need to keep pace with new technologies. You can trust a Kansas City company that has been your partner for 32 years. Check us out at opakc.com. Supporting local businesses and our community is more important than ever.
Jayhawk fans, if you haven't started to follow Kansas Nation on social, now is the time. Facebook, Instagram, X, it's Kansas Nation, and online at kansasnation.com for the latest news and information on your Kansas Jayhawks. Interviews, news conferences, daily and weekly shows, podcasts. Find it all at Kansas Nation and kansasnation.com. KansasNation.com is presented by Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. Step up your game with Game Day Men's Health Lawrence.
One of our partners here at Kansas Nation, Custom Lawn and Landscape. And as you know, summertime is made for backyard fun. But if you're like me, you've got kids running around the backyard. Nothing ruins time outside more than fleas, ticks, and chiggers. That's why families trust Custom Lawn and Landscape to keep their lawns beautiful and protected all season long. In fact, they've got a home insect control program that helps defend your yard from those pesky bugs so your pets and loved ones can enjoy the outdoors more comfortably and safely. Right now, when you sign up for the season, your first application is absolutely free, so check them out online at customlawn.com. Schedule your free first application and tell them the guys at Kansas Nation sent you. Custom Lawn and Landscape, helping you love your lawn without the bugs. Dan, it's a Top 10 Tuesday.
It is.
What do we got today?
We got a top 10 athletes that I do not want to mess with. I probably have some on here that you may disagree with. I probably have left some off that you may think should be on my list, but this is my list, so I don't give a hoot. But we'll probably just disagree on some things. But in honor of the many, many scuffles, skirmishes, fracas, what's another? You said fight.
Disagreement.
Already. Disagreement. I said gentleman's
Tussle's
interaction.
good.
Tussle. Yeah, tussle's good. The old Turnpike tussle. That's actually
Shout out.
Yeah, Washburn Emporia State, Stingers up. That's the name of their rivalry, the Turnpike tussle. In honor of that, I'm doing my top 10 athletes that I don't want to mess with. I'm going to start off here with number 10 on my top 10 athletes that I don't want to mess with. Give me Charles Barkley.
Really?
Because of the fact.
Not a teddy bear to you?
No, because I've seen old clips of him, and he does look scary. And there's also like a weird story from a long time ago where Charles Barkley like threw some random guy through a plate glass window. I don't want to mess with him.
No, you don't want that.
And there's going to be a lot of guys on here who I just don't want to mess with because A, they're bigger than me, and B, they have longer reach than me.
Right.
Like if I get
your wingspan's not great, isn't it?
No, it's not great. I mean, it's it's okay. But yeah, Chuck, I think can maybe get the best of me. Now, could he get the best of me now? Probably not.
You don't think?
I think he's moving around a little shaky.
Yeah.
Well, ever since he got on those GLP-1s, I think he's been okay.
Boy, can he put together consistently a terrible March Madness bracket?
He's really good.
Oh my God,
he's really good at being bad at that.
Awful.
But yeah, Chuck. I mean, there was. Hold on, Charles Barkley window incident. It was on the second floor. Oh, yeah, no, he threw a man through. Here it is. Threw a man through a bar window in Orlando. This is from the Orlando Sentinel. A 5'2" guy. Oh man, he went to jail for this. This is 1997. Shout out. Yeah, I don't want to mess with Chuck.
Shout out.
I don't want to mess with him. Okay, that's okay. Mess with. You should only fight guys your own size, Charles.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be messing with a 5'2" guy.
There's not a lot of guys
in a
his
bar,
size, but I
Orlando.
actually agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's 5'2". Leave him alone. He probably picked him up like a toddler and tossed him like a sack of potatoes. Anyway, Charles Barkley's my number 10. Number 9 on my list of top 10 athletes that I do not want to mess with. Give me Grayson Allen. I think he's dirty.
That boy tripping.
He's tripping. He's kicking. He's a dirty player. I don't like him. I think he's a little scrappy too. Plus, if I fight him, then I think his dad will sue me.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah.
That's
Do you know
what
his dad?
No, I don't. But I'm sure
What
he'll
makes
tell
you
me
think that?
You know who my dad is.
Yeah.
He seems like
It
that
does
kind of
seem
guy.
like that, yeah.
He seems like that kind of guy. So I don't like Grayson Allen. Do I want to fight him? Yeah, I do. Every time I see his face, I want to fight him. But do I think I can fight him? No. I don't think so. I think he's scrappy. I think he's dirty, and I think he'll sue me.
You'll get sued for sure.
Absolutely, I'll get sued. Have you warmed to him since he's been in the NBA?
I don't hate him as much. I don't know why.
Yeah, when he got into Utah Jazz and he got a little gray in his hair, he got a little salt and pepper going on, which he got a little gray in his hair way too early. Like he was like 25.
Hey, maybe he has kids. Maybe he has kids. You don't know.
Maybe he does. He's got more gray than you. I mean, like a lot more gray than you do. He looks old, which is so weird because he's like my age. Maybe he's like 30.
Grayson Allen, one of the most famous misses in KU history. The in and out, off the glass.
Yep.
Defended great by Malik Newman, by the way.
Yes.
Defended great. He got his hand in his face, off the glass, rolls out. Devontae Graham doing this. Can't believe that it rolled out. And
Shout out to Frank, man. Frank Mason. Another clutch moment from Frank Mason.
How so?
I thought he hit that game winner, didn't he? Wasn't that against
He did hit a game winner against Duke, and yes, Grayson Allen was on the team. I was talking the next year.
Oh, you're talking about the next year.
Yes.
Yeah. That's right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
The shot that rolled out from Grayson Allen
That's
was what I was
right.
talking about. It's massive.
Yeah, I don't want to fight Grayson Allen. I think he's again talk about reach. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just don't like that. Number 8 on my top 10 athletes that I don't want to mess with. Give me Patrick Mahomes out of respect.
Oh, well, of course.
He's a good guy. I had this thought where I want like athletes I don't want to fight, and they're all just great people because I just don't want to fight them. Like Larry Fitzgerald, J.J. Watt, just good guys. You know what I mean? But Patrick Mahomes is the only one that I have on here just out of respect.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, if you ever gotten in an altercation with Patrick Mahomes, like, would you ever like? There's no way.
You would never be able to step foot in Kansas City or
Absolutely
any surrounding
not.
area.
Plus, I don't think he doesn't strike me as a fighting guy.
No, but you would be fought by every
yeah.
Chiefs fan.
If I take one step towards Patrick Mahomes, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get carried out by an angry mob of people, and
As
no
it
matter
should be.
where I'm at.
As it should be.
I'll be like, hey, don't touch our golden angel. Which
He's your
again,
golden angel as well.
out of respect. That's why he's on my list. He's number 8. Out of respect. I will not fight. Plus, he's still injured, so I'm not going to kick a man while he's down.
What's our thinking right now? Because he's fully cleared.
Well, you're hoping that Justin Fields starts.
I'm saying we've
all
got a very good
17
we've
weeks.
got a very good option if he's not ready. But September 14th, that's a ways away, and he's out there slinging it.
I know. I mean, he's fully cleared. If he's fully
That
cleared,
would be
then I'm
9
fine.
months, man.
I said if it's going to be a question mark, I said that they should sit him for the first couple of weeks. But since it's not going to be a question mark anymore, I'm fine with him starting week 1.
Okay.
Because he's fully cleared. He looks good. He's rolling out, making throws in training camp.
A couple dual quarterback sets, man.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. That'd be good.
I'm sure you are. Should they
Throw
change,
Chris Oladokin out there
Should
as
they
well.
should they do a Terrell Pryor thing and just move Justin Fields to wide receiver?
There's
Did
too
he-
much arm talent for that.
Oh my gosh.
Too much arm talent for that. Yep.
Okay. We're gonna move. I don't want. Anytime he's brought up, we just turn every single segment into a Justin Fields segment.
I'm telling you, he is going to be a factor. That's NFL MVP vote getter. Justin Fields.
Over or under 100 yards on the season for him passing.
Oh my God, you are disgraceful.
Over?
Yes, over.
You think it's over 100?
Yeah.
You think they take Patrick
I don't
Mahomes
know,
up?
figure about 1,000. Petey Jones, shout out, remember the Titans. Remember that quote? Petey Jones, how many yards you getting? 1,000. Running back. He's the guy. It's the same actor that's in Scrubs.
Yeah.
What's his name? Donald Faison.
Donald Faison.
Shout out to Remember the Titans, man. Watch that movie on 4th of July, actually, after watching The Sandlot.
Good for you. It's
Yeah.
a good movie. You actually think it's over 100? Like, okay, I guess to be fair,
Yes, there's going to be some blowout games that he gets in and slings it.
yeah,
Yes.
to be like if the
And-
Chiefs lock up a playoff spot week 18, sure.
Okay. Let's
Maybe
hope
that.
for a healthy Patrick Mahomes, but Fields will get some run.
Okay. All right. I will bet you right now on that.
That reminds me, I forgot about our.
Yeah, what was the other one? Oh, it
We've
was,
got $40 right now.
was it
hidden
Trevor
somewhere?
Was it Trevor Lawrence, right?
Yes.
It was Trevor Lawrence, top 5 vote getter.
Yeah. What did you say?
Trevor Lawrence, top 5 MVP vote getter.
Okay, and I said no.
He was a top 5 MVP vote getter this year.
That's great. He's not going to do it again.
Year 2
All
in
right,
the
here we
Liam
go.
Cohen
What's,
system.
what's
All
number
right,
7?
Number 7 on my top 10 athletes that I do not want to fight. Give me Vontez Burfict.
Ooh.
He might be. That probably is a little low, honestly.
I mean, yeah,
He's scary. I mean, he like single-handedly made Antonio Brown what he is today.
I know. God, man.
He's such a hard hitter, and like, my goodness, just what a. I mean, he's gonna headbutt me, and I'm just gonna die.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't
Antonio
wanna mess with
Brown
him.
was relatively normal before that happened, right?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
The weirdest thing about him was he had a weird haircut. Remember the cube on
Right.
top of his head?
Yeah.
And then he got hit by Vontez Burfict, and now he's like an actual psychopath.
God. Yeah, you're right about Burfict. He's not a guy I would want to run
Absolutely not. Is he
Dirty player.
No, yeah,
Dirty player.
absolutely, yeah, dirty player. I mean, just a big tough guy. You know,
He got suspended 12 games for that. Longest on-field suspension in oh my God. Yeah, longest on-field suspension in NFL history. He now is
That
a
makes
member
sense.
of the UNLV Rebels coaching staff as a defensive analyst.
good for him.
I
How
guess.
old is he?
He
Maybe
is
I can take
35.
Okay, 35. I mean, that's ancient. So
Number 6. Number 6.
you don't want to comment on that?
Vonta. When was the last time that I commented on it when you brought it up?
Virtually every time.
You think? It's been a
maybe.
few months.
I don't know. Sean's 35. Okay, number 6 on my top 10 athletes that I do not want to fight. Give me another Bengal, Adam Pac-Man Jones.
Oh my God, yeah.
I mean,
the
you remember what
Bengals could fill this list.
Oh, yeah. You remember what happened? He had like a weird thing in an airport, didn't he? I'm pretty sure he fought somebody in an airport.
I don't know. You float that up to me, and I don't know.
Okay, fair enough.
Look it up.
He's like I mean, Pac-Man Jones airport fight. Yeah. He
Trey Myers is looking it up for us.
Yeah, it was in 2023. He was drunk and terroristic threatening. What?
I don't remember this for some reason.
I remember this. I don't remember that part of it. It was around 6 a.m. Man, that's crazy. Shout out to Adam Pac-Man Jones. He was. He was scary when he was playing. He was like. Is
that deserving of a shout out?
He was Vontez Perfect before Vontez Perfect.
Disaster. Oh my
Multiple
God.
airport incidents.
Oh my God.
2017. My goodness. Is he on a no-fly list? It's got to be at this point. Shout out to Adam Pac-Man Jones. He was like legitimately. He was Vontez Perfect before Vontez Perfect. Like he was like the hard hitter. Like
right.
You do not want to mess with him.
Safety, not
no, I know
large.
Like,
yeah,
you did not want to mess with him though. Like he was so good. He was so much fun to watch, man.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I just thought of another one. Peanut. The Peanut Punch guy. What's his name? Charles Tillman. Yeah. Peanut Tillman. FBI agent Peanut Tillman. That's right. FBI agent Peanut Tillman. You know Charles Peanut Tillman?
Oh,
the Peanut Punch.
I forgot about the
Peanut Punch.
The nickname. Peanut Tillman. God, yeah.
Charles Peanut Tillman. Yeah. That was I'll throw him on the honorable mention. I forgot about him. Another just like fun safety to watch. What am I at? 5 now? Number 5. No, that was 5. Wait, Charles Barkley. I need to number these, don't I?
Yeah, and you also need to limit the times that you say, wasn't he the guy who, or didn't he? And I'm like, I have no idea.
What do you mean you don't remember the?
It's your list.
What do you mean you don't remember the Adam Pac-Man Jones airport incident? Yeah, that's fair. Number 5 on my top 10 athletes I don't want to mess with, Draymond Green, naturally. Draymond Green.
Yeah, I mean, dirty player.
Dirty player. He'll kick me. I mean, he
and Grayson Allen are the same but different. Grayson Allen's just going to trip you, and Draymond's going to go for the baby makers.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, Draymond, man, he
did that a lot. He's done that a ton.
He's an emotional player. He wears his emotions on his sleeve whenever he plays basketball. Again, the reach too. I mean, you can't get around him. I'm not even going to get close to him. I'm going to be like this.
He's over $1 million in career fines. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
Granted, he's probably made, I don't know.
Yeah, he's doing fine. He's not.
Isn't it weird? Him being like friends with LeBron seems weird to me.
Yeah, they're boys. He
has earned $227 million in his career. So I think his $1 million in fees, fines, whatever, is fine.
Yeah, he's doing okay. Yeah, that was number 5 because I've done 6 players so far. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Yes, so that was number 5. Yeah, him and LeBron are boys.
Yeah,
the picture of them dancing at the wedding.
Somebody's wedding.
So good,
yeah.
So good. Shout out Draymond. Is he still on the Warriors? Yeah. I know they were talking about moving him. Yeah. So he's a free agent.
The Warriors are a disaster right now.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I wish LeBron would have gone there. The unction. That would have been so much fun. But LeBron's. Oh, we haven't even talked to you about that on the show yet. LeBron James.
Man, I haven't had time.
We'll save it for tomorrow, maybe. All right, number 4 on my top 10 athletes that I do not want to mess with. Give me Ndamukong Suh.
Also a dirty player.
Probably should be number 1 on here.
Oh, I've got that makes me think of another guy that I got to add to my.
Ndamukong Suh, like he was stepping on guys' legs, and
yeah.
It's not even the fact that he was dirty; it's the fact that he's just a massive human being.
Yeah.
I mean, just a guy you don't want to mess with. I'm pretty sure I saw this. I was Googling. I was looking up players like you don't want to fight. Apparently there was a poll taken in like the 2010s where they asked NFL players who they would least likely want to fight. It was like unanimously Ndamukong Suh. Like everybody's like, I'm not messing with that guy. He's a monster. Like no chance. I'm even touching him. Which fair. Like I get it. He's scary. Man, what a dog at Nebraska. He was so good.
Oh, my God, right? Shout out to Tyler Brewer, by the way. Big Cornhusker fan.
Nebraska fan.
Yeah, no, he was a dog. He played for a ton of different teams in the NFL and played for a long time for a man of his size.
Yeah. He was most notably with the Lions.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Really good player. Yeah, I don't know, man. Just a disruptor up the middle.
Disruptor up the middle and a massive human. Yeah,
That's the thing.
wouldn't
If
want to touch him.
I have 15 friends, if it's me and 15 of my friends going up against Ndamukong Suh, you know what he's going to do? He's going to throw all of my friends to the side, and then I'm going to be staring down the barrel of Ndamukong Suh.
Just hope that you were one of the friends that's thrown to the side instead.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Man, I really hope that's the case. Number 3 on my top 10 athletes that I do not want to mess with. Give me Meta World Peace.
Yeah,
Just
for obvious reasons.
Obvious reasons.
I
mean,
need to go back and watch the Malice at the Palace.
So is he, because of the name change, which I actually think he's Panda Friend now? Is that right? Yeah, he's Panda Friend.
Oh, my God.
Oh, he switched it back to, he
So
was Panda Friend, now he's back to Meta World Peace.
Meta Sandiford Artest.
Meta Sandiford
Formerly
Artest.
known as Ron Artest and Meta World Peace.
Yes.
Shout
He
out
was.
to Chad Ochocinco, by the way.
Yeah. Also a guy who changed his name. If you were to change your name, what would you change it to?
Sean Ochocinco.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. Since he changed his name to World Peace, do you think he's nicer?
I think so. I think that was the key. We got to figure out.
What a PR move that was, by the way. You think that was what it was? Everybody's like, oh, man, Ron Artest, that's the guy who fought. He's like, all right, I know how to change my perception.
He said, quote, changing my name was meant to inspire and bring youth together all around the world, end quote.
So maybe I just wouldn't fight him. Maybe I would just, hang out with him and talk about geopolitical conflicts or whatever. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay,
Panda
so
Friend.
Panda Friend
Okay.
was not an official name change, but he wore it while he was playing in China.
Played at St. John's. The Bulls originally drafted him. He had his early years with the
didn't know
Bulls.
that.
Bulls, Pacers, Kings, Rockets, Lakers, Knicks.
Would he have played with? So he would have played with Jordan.
No.
No?
99 he got there.
Right after
Yeah.
99. That okay.
He was the replacement.
Sure.
Right.
1 for 1, really.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we've all seen the video. I don't want to mess with Ron Artest.
No.
Meta World Peace. Excuse me.
No. I do want to go back and see the video again, though.
Meta Sandiford
It always
Artest.
starts with somebody throwing a beer, man.
Yeah, I know it.
Seems like it.
I know it. Number 2 on my top 10 athletes that I do not want to mess with. Go ahead and give me Aaron Donald.
Is that a purely size thing? Because he seems like a nice guy.
Purely a size thing. Just a meatball. Plus, he was. I mean, do you remember that video that appeared? It was right before, I think, the Super Bowl season. Maybe it was after the Super Bowl season, where he was like with knives. They had a guy with knives, and he was like swim moving the guy holding knives. How insane is that? Just absolutely insane. He had knives.
Yeah,
Sean.
no interest in that.
You can't bring a knife to an Aaron Donald fight.
Sounds like you have to.
But you can't. This man had 2 knives.
Knife training.
And guess what?
Man.
He was getting
Knife
right behind
training.
him. Knife training. Aaron Donald knife training. Look it up.
God, that's frightening.
I know. He's terrifying.
That is frightening.
Plus, there's like rumors of him maybe potentially trying to come back. I doubt he does. There's no way.
With the Rams?
Yeah. There's no way he does.
Get Miles on one side.
Oh, God. How scary would that be? Aaron Donald's been out of the game for too long. I think he's not going to be. He wouldn't be the same player.
Yeah, probably not.
Man, shout out to Aaron Donald. I don't want to mess with him. I would not want to mess with him. Drum roll. My number 1 athlete that I do not want to mess with, Bob Probert of the Detroit Red Wings and the Chicago Blackhawks powerhouse. He engaged in 246 career fights, racked up 3,300 plus penalty minutes in the NHL. Literally, his only job was to be a goon. Like, his only job was to get into hockey games and fight.
Good for him.
Shout out. That's the kind of guy you don't want to mess with. That man got paid millions of dollars to be
Go
a
out there and get in
fighter.
fights, yeah.
In a
246 is insane.
246 career fights. I don't want to mess with Bob Probert. How old is he now?
46, I think. No, maybe I made that up.
He born in 1965.
Oh, he's
he
way older
died
than
in
that.
2010. My
Ooh,
goodness.
Yikes.
Yeah. Look this guy up. I mean, literally, his only job was to be he was a goon.
Heart attack
Tough.
at the age of 45.
Rest in peace. I'm honoring him well by him being number 1.
I got some honorable mentions. Rasheed Wallace,
Yeah.
of course. Ben
Ben
Wallace,
Wallace.
for that matter.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Simmons.
Jeffrey Simmons.
Rugned
Good.
Odor. Shout out to Jose Batista.
Yeah, it's got a mean
and,
right hook.
Jose Ramirez. Shout out to Tim Anderson.
A lot of
whose,
baseball players,
career
I think,
fell off
miss.
a cliff. Yeah, we have a ton of boxers and wrestlers too.
Nolan Ryan.
Anybody else? You got Kyle Farnsworth would be one.
Yeah.
Who? Yeah,
Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah,
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar punched a guy, and he got suspended for a long time. I think he broke his hand,
there's
too.
just so many.
Broke his jaw.
I mean, God. LeBron is big.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to fight LeBron. Out of
Guys who have
respect. That's LeBron's another respect one.
Yeah, that's also, he's, massive. Oh, my God.
Stewart. Yeah. Oh, my God. That guy's always trying to fight people. Joe Johnson. Probably a good one. He seems scary.
Bill Lambier. Pistons.
Yeah,
The bad
Bill
boys back in the
Lambier.
day.
Oh, man. Yeah, the bad boys.
Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman is probably...
No boxers. No boxers.
No boxers.
Oh, I thought you said Nate Robinson. He said David Robinson.
Yeah, Nate Robinson of boxing fame. He would be scrappy. I think that would be...
Zaza Pachulia. A lot of great options on guys to avoid.
Yeah,
that
Steven
is,
Adams, I think is...
Oh, my God. Yeah, he's frightening.
He would be
He's
scary.
just a massive human.
Yeah, Steven Adams.
For sure.
He
Yeah.
should have been
Anyway,
on this
that's
list.
Dan's Top 10 Tuesday. Athletes he does not want to mess with. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Yes, we had a little bit of a scrum last night, or two, over at Charles Koch Arena in Wichita, and doing Top 10, as Dan said, in honor of that. After this, though, we are going to go to Zoom, and we're going to be joined by David Lesky inside the Crown to talk all things Royals baseball. That's next. ESPN Kansas City, KansasNation.com.
Hi, my name is Augusto Mungarrieta from Kansas Baseball, and you're watching KansasNation.com.
Jayhawk fans, if you haven't started to follow Kansas Nation on social, now is the time. Facebook, Instagram, X, it's Kansas Nation, and online at KansasNation.com for the latest news and information on your Kansas Jayhawks. Interviews, news conferences, daily and weekly shows, podcasts. Find it all at Kansas Nation and KansasNation.com. KansasNation.com is presented by Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. Step up your game with Game Day Men's Health Lawrence.
Celebrate the summer with savings at Crown Toyota. BZ models, 0% APR with a $500 cash incentive. RAV4 models, 4.99% APR. 2026 Toyota Tacoma, 3.99% APR. Get into a 2026 Tundra for 2.99% APR.
This is SSJ. Winter in Kansas City doesn't mean your lawn takes a break. It means smart homeowners get a head start. Let David and his crew from Custom Lawn and Landscape prepare your yard for a greener, healthier spring with winter fertilization, soil conditioning, and pre-emergent treatments that stop weeds before they start. Because when the snow melts, you don't want to start fixing your lawn. You want to already be winning. Trust Custom Lawn and Landscape, treating your yard now so it looks incredible later. Visit CustomLawn.com to schedule your winter services today.
We've got Mahindra, the #1 selling farm tractor in the world.
And we've got Mahindra Red, White, and Blue Summer Savings at Heinen Repair and Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment. Get 0% financing for up to 84 months with approved credit, plus $2,000 cash back on select Mahindra models. Get your tough, dependable, value-packed Mahindra tractor for less while the Red, White, and Blue Summer Savings last at Heinen Repair, south of Valley Falls, and Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment in Lawrence.
With Heinen, there's always hope for your yard.
Sean Kellerman, Dan Courtwright back with you here on KansasNation.com. Jayhawk fans, show up, pack the field house, and wave the wheat when it comes to money. Ameritrust brings that same energy. That's because financial well-being isn't just something they offer, it's why they exist. Real people, local decisions, a team that actually knows your name. When you're ready to improve your financial game plan, they are ready. Ameritrust Credit Union, the official financial well-being partner of Kansas Athletics. Visit Ameritrust.org to learn more. Federally insured by the NCUA. All right, we're joined on Zoom now by David Lesky from Inside the Crown. Give him a subscription, insidethecrown.substack.com, for all things Royals baseball, not just in season, but in the offseason as well, as the Royals have a really exciting young core. The season has not gone as hoped with injuries and performance that hasn't been up to standards, that sort of thing. But still, we like where we're at in terms of that young core. David, thanks for joining us. Nice catching up after the past few weeks. Got to start with the big story, though, and that's what happened in Motown on Saturday. Salvador Perez hitting number 318. He's got the most homers in Royals history. Your thoughts on that as he passes George Brett, and are you holding firm on the 350 number for Salvi eventually going to the MLB Hall of Fame?
First of all, I thought you were going to ask me. I thought it was about Nick Lofton's big home run. Okay?
Yes.
I think
it was the game winner.
It was the game winner, and then Massey did it the next day. But sure, let's talk about a guy who just hit a solo home run to tie a game. Huge, obviously, and it was funny because when he hit 317 on Wednesday afternoon, so I read about it on Thursday, and I wrote this whole long thing about this is so big for the franchise, and Salvador Perez is so important and so cool that blah 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 all this stuff. Then he hit 318. I'm like, I already said all this stuff, but he actually broke the record this time. What do I do? Because I've already written all that. But no, I mean, it's a massive moment for the franchise because like that, the Royals just haven't had much power historically. I mean, the fact that 318 is their most home runs by anybody ever says that. I think it's like the 6th or 7th lowest franchise record number. And it'll grow, obviously. A side note, I would love if the broadcast had some fun, and every time Salvi hits one, they do like a big graphic that says he broke the Royals record for home runs. Because he does. Why not? But also he passed like an inner circle Hall of Famer. And because obviously there are Hall of Famers, and then there are the guys who are like, okay, we are all these guys are the ones who we know like are the most Hall of Fame of the Hall of Famers. And Salvador Perez passed one of them, which is really cool. And I think speaks to his longevity, but also just like how big of a part of Royals history Salvador Perez is. And I said this the other day somewhere else, but I think it's so interesting that of all those 2011 prospects, Hosmer, Moustakas, Will Myers, Christian Colon, I mean, he wasn't very home runs, but all those guys, Salvador Perez is the one who broke the record. Not any of the other ones. He's the guy ranked like 19th in the system. And he comes up and we're talking about, I mean, he's going to have his number retired. There's going to be a statue of him at the new stadium. There will be Hall of Fame debates for it'll calm for like 3 or 4 years before he's on the ballot, and then the year leading up, and then once he gets on the ballot, there's just going to be constant conversation about Salvador Perez. He's going to be the guy that everybody talks about. And of that group, he's the one who's going to be on this list. And I still do think 350 is the number that is a lock. I've reached a point, I'm hedging a little bit here, but I think he's in at this point because I think that even if he doesn't get in the 10 years on the ballot, the Veterans Committee will vote him in. So he's going to find a way in because he's beloved. And the thing is, I mentioned this on our Kaufman Corner podcast that we do on Sundays, that it's hard to predict Hall of Fame because it's not just, okay, here's a statistical threshold that these players have reached, therefore they are in. It's people voting. It's Baseball Writers Association of America voters who have been in the BBWAA for 10 years. It is them voting on people. And where Salvador Perez has an edge is he is beloved. Writers love him. I mean, if you've been in the clubhouse, you know that he makes a special effort to talk to people. He's not ducking anybody. He's always giving you information. He's a guy people love. And so the people who love him are voting for him. Well, whether you want to or not, everybody says, "Oh, I'm leaving that out. I'm leaving that. I'm not looking at the numbers. I'm just going to go by the statistical argument." No, you're a human being, and so that will be an issue, or that will help him, I think, quite a bit. But we also don't know what the voter base is going to look like in 7, 9, 12 years. And so, and also the other thing that the big knock on him was framing defensively, and that's why his wins above replacement are low, specifically on Fangraphs. In 10 years, are people going to care about framing?
Yeah,
I don't know the answer. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, because especially if we see CBS go universal, I don't know that that's going to be a ding on him anymore. It's going to be on base percentage, and that's about it. But how many catchers are World Series MVPs? How many catchers lead their franchise in home runs? I'll tell you, it's 2. It's Salvi and Johnny Bench. There are a lot of factors here that I think will ultimately get him voted in, or at the very least, he'll go on the Veterans Committee.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly, hope so in terms of Salvador Perez, and we certainly hope he's the guy. And I was actually going to ask you about wins above replacement because it seems like, it's relatively low, and then also it's continuing to get lower the more that he plays, just because he's not the same player that he once was, which is unfortunate. Sean and I were having this conversation off air, just kind of discussing top 10 Royals of all time. I guess you have like two surefire guys with obviously George Brett, you have Frank White. But in terms of, I guess, top 10, I'll even say top 5, is he in your top 5 Royals of all time? Are there other guys that we're maybe forgetting? Like, do you include Greinke and Carlos Beltran in there because those guys played for different guys? Or I guess, all-time good guy, Salvador Perez, but is he in your top 5 Royals of all time?
So I think that there are two ways to look at it. First of all, I'm not sure that Frank White's in my top 5.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, Amos Otis has to be there. George Brett's number 1. We can forget that. Amos Otis I think has to be there. I think Willie Wilson is there. The question, but then you add in what they've done for the franchise. There's more than just on the field. Right. And I think that, George Brett is 1. I think there's an argument to be made that Salvador Perez is 1A. And he's not even like, I really do, based on the importance of the franchise, because it all started. I mean, the guys started coming up in 2011 for that run. Everybody talks about 14 and 15. It was 13 to 17. I mean, they had the winning season in 13. They made the playoffs in 14, obviously, almost won the World Series, won it in 15. 16 was a rough year because of it all went downhill when the Gordon and Moose injury happened, the collision that changed a lot of things. And then 17, we forget they were in a playoff spot at the trade deadline in 2017. They fell apart down the stretch, but they were in a playoff spot. And that was after a slow start, which I think was largely because of Giordano Ventura's passing. It was just that was a tough start to the year. And so Salvador Perez was the central figure on those teams. When we talked about Eric Hosmer, Moustakas, all that, Salvi was the guy.
Yeah.
And so I think that plays a big role there. And I mean, there's a case for a lot of other guys. I wouldn't put Greinke there. He wasn't, I think that if you want to be a franchise icon, top 5, you got to play more than 6 or 7 years. So Beltran, yes, I think he's a Hall of Famer, and I wish he would have gone in as a Royal, but I don't think he's quite there. You could argue Alex Gordon, and I think Gordon and Frank White are kind of in the same spot. And I think one of those two is probably number 5 for me, with Amos Otis and Willie Wilson above them. But that's why I said I don't know. Frank White might be in my top 5. I'd have to really think about it. But then there's Hal McRae. Bobby Witt Jr. is going to make a case soon. There are Paul Splittorff's got to be up there. Kevin Apier's got to be up there. I mean, we're talking about position players, but Paul Splittorff wasn't one of the best players in franchise history, but he's one of the most important. I mean, he has more wins than anybody as a pitcher. You want to put Brett Sabrig, but he wasn't here long enough. Not his fault. He got traded. Mark Guba's, there's a lot of guys, but I really believe not only is Salvi in there, I think if he's not 1A, he's 2 to me.
Mm-hmm. Great breakdown there. David Lesky, InsideTheCrown.substack.com. Salvador Perez, 318 career homers for the Royals, passing George Brett, who previously led for a long time with 317.
40+
InsideTheCrown.substack.com. Give David a subscription. He's got over 5,000 subscribers. Well, we noticed this with the Chiefs, of course, the last season. It was a season that kind of fell off the rails, and then you saw Patrick Mahomes get hurt. And now on the Royals side of things, David, for the first time in his career, Bobby Witt Jr. is on the injured list, has some back issues, which is never a good thing. But it sure is something looking at the Royals lineup these days. They've actually been winning some games, which has been nice, but been a little bit strange seeing these guys roll out. Kind of give us an update on the injury side of things.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How much time do we have?
You can avoid the Stevezes of the world if you want to.
Yeah. I'll be curious. So Kyle Isbell played 5 games on a rehab assignment this past week. I would not be surprised if he's back today. I haven't seen anything yet, but that would not surprise me at all. It sounds like Witt's going to miss the 10 days, which means puts him back on July 31st. Right back just in time to hit in Colorado. So good for him.
Good.
Big congrats to him. A couple others that are, I think, noteworthy. Chris Bubich is actually throwing again, so good. I'll believe he's back when he's back. That's what I will say. I don't have an answer on when, but I won't buy it until then. Michael Garcia, I think he's starting a rehab assignment tonight in Northwest Arkansas. So he's been out. When was that? Was that mid-June? June. Oh, I'm looking right now. June 23rd was his IL date. Okay, so I would anticipate he'd need the full week on rehab, and I would say we'd probably see him next week if things go well. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But good to see him on a rehab assignment. The other big one, Stephen Kolek, he is getting a second opinion, which I've said this before. I think on this show, if you get a second opinion, it's because the first one said surgery. So he's going to be out for a while. It sounds like it's elbow. The right flexor strain, which often leads to Tommy John, or the UCL surgery that Cole Reagan's had that will put him out for 10 to 12 months. We'll see how that goes. But I would if you're the Royals, I think you've got to look at Stephen Kolek and say we're not going to see him until 2028 at this point.
Do you have any update? This is kind of a strange one, but a dad question. Did you hear any update regarding his family emergency? Because I know there were a couple different times that he had to go on family emergency paternity leave.
From my understanding, and I believe this is out there publicly, so I'm not telling anything that somebody told me that I shouldn't say out loud. His I believe daughter was born preterm, is what they say now, not premature, preterm, and I've heard she's doing very well. The Royals, what's interesting, it's the timeline is so interesting because he goes, they're clear, and I don't, this is no knowledge, but he goes on the Family Medical Emergency Leave Act list a few weeks ago, comes back, has that terrible start against the Cardinals, goes on the paternity list, and you go, oh, okay, that's probably what that was. And then he comes back for a start, pitches 2 innings, goes back on the list because they wanted to give him all that time around the All-Star break to be able to actually be with his family. And it was good of the Royals and good of the league to allow that because I think they could have seen that as manipulating. And then he comes back and he hadn't pitched in so long. They sent him to Omaha for a rehab start, and that's when he hurt himself. And look, if he had pitched in the big leagues, it probably would have hurt himself then too. So I don't think that's what did it, but from my understanding, his daughter is doing well. I don't know if they're home. I don't know anything about that, but from my understanding, everything is good there.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously great to hear, and good hearing that she's doing all right. David Lesky, InsideTheCrown.substack.com. Be sure to give him a subscription. David, talk a little trade deadline, if you will. Seth Lugo's on the slab tonight. Are we going to see him in a Royals jersey ever again after today? Because we were talking beforehand, nobody really bases it off of one game where he's trying to get out there and show everybody that, hey, I'm actually worth $20 million or whatever. Michael Wacha, same thing. I mean, just talk to me about maybe some of those guys who are on the chopping block isn't the right word to say, but some of the guys who they're looking to maybe move.
Well, let's start with Lugo. I don't think he gets moved. And I don't think the Royals are against moving him necessarily. But he's owed, $20 million this year and next year. And then he's got an option that becomes vesting if he pitches a certain number of innings, which 335 innings over the next 2 years. He's at 117 2/3 now. What do they have? 55 games left, right? So if he's got, let's say, 10 more starts and throws 55 more innings, he can get to 335 fairly easily over the 2 years next year. That vests at $17 million. You're taking on a risk with Seth Lugo, and I don't think teams want to pay that. And the Royals are so hard up for starting pitching next season that, and I don't entirely disagree with this viewpoint that, hey, why would we pay for you to take somebody who we could use when we need them? And so if they don't get a deal where a team is willing to take on the full salary, I think he's going to stay. And I don't think there's going to be a team to do that. Look, teams get desperate. And if you look at the buyers and the sellers around, I don't know who's selling. Nobody knows who's selling. I mean, we know the few. We know the Royals. We know We know the Angels. We know the Athletics, if they have got something to sell. We know the Mets. We know the Rockies. We know the Giants. Everybody else is a crapshoot. Like, are the Cardinals selling? Are the Pirates selling? They're not. Pirates aren't selling. Are the Marlins selling now because they lost 12 in a row before they won yesterday? Are the Mariners buying? Or are they, what are they doing? Blue Jays, what are they doing? So there are a lot of questions. And it could very well come up that, hey, there are 20 teams in need of a starter and there are 16 starters out there. So all of a sudden, Seth Lugo at 20 million looks attractive. And so that could change that. I don't think he gets moved. Michael Wacha, to me, is a different story because he, first of all, his salary goes down to 14 million next year, and there's an option for 14 million in 2028, and it's a team option. You're only taking on roughly a third of his salary left this year, so that's $6 million. So you're really on the hook for 20 million for a year and a third with Michael Wacha. With his consistency, I think there will be a market for him. The Royals have been very consistent in saying we need to be blown away. I don't love that. I would prefer them to say, hey, we need a slightly more than a fair offer. We need to win. We need to view that we are winning this trade to make that move. I think it's possible that an offer is made that they view as winning that trade. And so I put Wacha's trade chances. I put Lugo's trade chances at like 10%. I put Wacha's at closer to 30 because I do think that there's a chance that trade, that offer gets out there. They just can't say no to it. So we'll see on that. Those are the two that are really big questions. But then you look around. I mean, they're Lane Thomas, I believe, will have a pretty big market. And if Kyle Isbell is back today, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Thomas traded sooner than later. The right-handed bats, they're just not out there. And Lane Thomas has been really good, specifically since he's been starting with Isbell out. I think there's a small market for Starling Marte. I don't think you're going to care about the return, but I think he could get moved. And we're looking at pending free agents right now. John Schreiber is going to get traded, and he'll bring back what he brings back. It'll be a lower level. It'll be somebody in the bottom third of a team's top 30 probably, which is fine. Maybe the Royals do something like they got Cole Reagans. It was rolled as Chapman, so it's a different type of trade. But the Royals do like to scout those post-type guys. So maybe it's something along those lines for Schreiber. But the rest, I have a tough time. Kyle Isbell drew a lot of interest last year. The problem with him being out for so long, and even if he does come back today, it's only 6 games. 6 games before the deadline they can see him, and maybe they don't care. Maybe they don't need to see him healthy as long as the Royals say he's healty. Although I wouldn't trust this training staff after this season. I'd have to see them on the field before I believe they're actually capable of playing. I think Alex Lane could get moved, but the Royals have a lot of need in that bullpen over the next couple of years too, and he's got 2 more years of team control. So I think they'd have to get a trade offer that they won't get to move Alex Lang, and that's an issue. I think Lynch is a similar option. He will get offers because he's been pretty good this year, but there's also been a little bit of luck to his game. He hasn't struck guys out for a while now. So my guess is you're going to see one of those players that you don't expect to be traded. But so I think they'll be active. I just don't think it'll be exciting action unless they get that offer they want from Michael.
Yeah, I'm kind of bummed about the Lane Thomas thing because we talked before. I really like him as a player, but to his credit and good for him, he's been playing awesome recently, kind of for an extended time. He's got 10 homers now, and it's been a while. It's been good to see.
But like the other thing about this is, if you're the Royals, and there's a caveat here I'll get to, but if you're not getting a great offer for Lane Thomas, and you're like, hey, I'm just going to give him, we want to give you 2 years and $15 million. We're going to figure this out for next year because the offense is part of why the offense is working is because of Lane Thomas. And if you're the Royal, and if you're getting, we're going to give you our number 26 prospect, I'd rather just keep Lane Thomas for a couple of years. And people won't like it because they'll see it as being not transactional because we don't know what was turned down. We don't know what they didn't get for a guy. But I don't think it's impossible that that's the route they end up going. Now, if they do, one, Lane Thomas has to agree to that deal before. It's a Seth Lugo situation, but for far less money. They cannot not trade him and then hope to sign him. No, you have to sign him or trade him. It's not there's no in the middle there because he's not getting a qualifying offer. So you don't want to lose him for nothing. And the other side of that is if you do that, I don't think Lane Thomas can be your center fielder because he's not especially good defensively there. I think you want him in right field, which means you got to go into the offseason and say, okay, one of Vinny or Jack Caglianone's got to go. And I don't. There are worlds that it's Jack Caglianone. People won't like it, but there are worlds that he brings back something so good that Lane Thomas and Vinny Pasquantino plus the Caglianone return is better than Lane Thomas and Jack Caglianone plus the Vinny return. So there's a lot of moving parts there, but I mean, I think there's a world that happens too.
Yeah, well, we're going to have a lot to talk about next week, no matter what, regarding the trade deadline. But hey, if I'm allowed to say it, the Royals are 7-3 since the break, and you got 9 against the Twins and the Rockies. So I'll be watching, I'll be tracking.
I'm sorry,
yeah, even though
they're
lineup,
only 9 out of the wild card.
Oh my gosh!
So you go 9-0, and that could be a lot of fun. But yeah, they don't
everybody
really have the
0-9
horses right now. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. David Lesky, InsideTheCrown.substack.com. Thanks for joining us, David. We'll chat with you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right. That's David joining us as he does every Tuesday here on Rock Chalk Sports. More coming up after this on KansasNation.com.
Yo, this is Paul Pierce, and you're watching Kansas Nation.
At the heart of a city lies the restless, the visionaries, the bold. From redefining events to guiding local youth, providing lifelines of industry, or reshaping wellness across the region, you deserve a financial partner that matches your ambition. At Meritrust, we handle the finances so you can take care of the bold. Meritrust Credit Union. Business, banking, bold.
Get 0.9% APR or a $3,500 customer bonus on 2026 Atlas models. 2026 Atlas Cross Sport 3.9% APR or $3,500 customer bonus. 26 Tiguan models now 1.9% APR or a $2,500 customer bonus.
This is SSJ. Winter in Kansas City doesn't mean your lawn takes a break. It means smart homeowners get a head start. Let David and his crew from Custom Lawn and Landscape prepare your yard for a greener, healthier spring with winter fertilization, soil conditioning, and pre-emergent treatments that stop weeds before they start. Because when the snow melts, you don't want to start fixing your lawn. You want to already be winning. Trust Custom Lawn and Landscape, treating your yard now so it looks incredible later. Visit CustomLawn.com to schedule your winter services today.
Jayhawk fans, if you haven't started to follow Kansas Nation on social, now is the time. Facebook, Instagram, X, it's Kansas Nation, and online at kansasnation.com for the latest news and information on your Kansas Jayhawks. Interviews, news conferences, daily and weekly shows, podcasts. Find it all at Kansas Nation and kansasnation.com. KansasNation.com is presented by Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. Step up your game with Game Day Men's Health Lawrence.
Rock Chalk Sports rolls on. Sean Kellerman, Dan Courtwright with you. Central Bank, partners of us here at Kansas Nation with Jayhawk checking from Central Bank. Jayhawk fans can carry their pride wherever they go with the official Jayhawk debit card, a simple way to show school spirit every day. Central Bank is proud to support the traditions and communities that bring people together. As the proud community banking partner of the University of Kansas, Central Bank is committed to serving Jayhawk fans with banking options designed for real life. Learn more about Jayhawk checking and the exclusive debit card at jayhawkchecking.com. jayhawkchecking.com. Central Bank, the proud community banking partner of the University of Kansas. Member FDIC. All right, if you are listening on ESPN Kansas City, we are going to close out that portion of the show right now. And if you're watching on kansasnation.com, stick around. We've got more coming up after this. But, Dan, we do want to get into this news about Melvin Council. Henry Greenstein, KUSports.com, and the Lawrence Journal-World, who will join us on tomorrow's show, had some news and a variety of other sources as well. But kind of fill us in on everything that's going on regarding a former Jayhawk who's perhaps trying to come back.
Question mark. Yes, former Jayhawk. Yeah, it's interesting. So Henry Greenstein was actually the first one to report this. Melvin Council Jr. is suing the NCAA in Douglas County Court in an attempt to become eligible for the 2026-2027 men's basketball season. The Journal-World acquired these court records from Douglas County. This is an interesting story because Melvin Council, as you know, they have the whole 5-and-5 rule going on now. Melvin Council did actually wind up playing 5 years. Essentially, in my legal experience, which is none, I'll try to break this down. And I could be wrong about a lot of this stuff, but I read through. Essentially what it is Melvin Council saying, hey, I actually didn't play 5 years in the NCAA. I actually had to play 2 years in JUCO, and I was forced to play 2 years in JUCO because of a rape charge and a sexual abuse charge that happened back when he was in high school, which wound up getting exonerated, and there was, quote, serious mistakes that happened in terms of all of this, completely exonerated, found innocent. But essentially during that process, what his argument is that forced him to go to junior college as opposed to the NCAA. So he's trying to look for those additional years where he was forced to play JUCO as opposed to in the NCAA. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if this is going to have legs. It seems to me like it's maybe a relative. Like if you're a good lawyer, you can argue this for sure. Like, hey, actually, like I was forced to play JUCO. I wasn't able to play in the NCAA, so I should be allowed to get at least one, maybe two. And we know that he did get the additional JUCO year that was awarded to him in a previous. It wasn't a lawsuit, but that was the rule where, hey, if you play JUCO, you actually get an additional year. He actually did wind up getting that. So this could potentially have legs. Who knows in terms of all of this? But yeah, he has lawyered up, and Bill Self did actually put out a statement to the Journal World saying, during the recruitment process of Melvin Council Jr., his family made us aware that Melvin was the subject of a court action that occurred in 2019 following his junior year of high school. It was later determined that by the charging district attorney's office that serious mistakes were made during the process. Melvin Council was exonerated and has no criminal record. Also, Bill Self said in a statement that they are aware of what's going on in terms of the lawsuit against the NCAA.
I didn't read that.
And they're going to, track this, and certainly would be an okay addition to this.
Well, here's what Coach said,
Yeah.
quote,
So,
we're aware of Melvin's legal efforts to pursue an additional year of Division I eligibility, similar to what a number of student athletes across the country are doing. At this point, we are simply monitoring the process and allowing it to play out, end quote. But yes, the lawsuit was filed on Thursday of last week. From the court, counsel is requesting eligibility for next basketball season, as well as ensure immunity from any additional NCAA rules that may inhibit either him or an institution that chooses to employ him. This is information, again, from an article on KUSports.com, courtesy of Henry Greenstein. Counsel's fifth year at KU was possible in the first place because of a blanket waiver the NCAA issued in 2024, allowing all former JUCO athletes whose eligibility would otherwise have expired after the 2024-25 campaign to play for one more season. The lawsuit contends that the NCAA should not start an athlete's eligibility clock at all when an athlete enrolls at a junior college. So in preventing counsel from continuing to play a fourth NCAA season after his 2 years at JUCO, the suit asserts the NCAA is also preventing him from additional opportunities to develop as an athlete in pursuit of a professional contract, and in the meantime to earn money based on his name, image, and likeness, opportunities that were not available to the same extent when he was at junior college. So, yes, very interesting. Who knows if anything will come of this. We might see an article down the line about this, get some news down the line about this, and we might not. It may just fizzle, as oftentimes these things do, like when, guys enter the transfer portal after their eligibility is exhausted. We mention it, and then it doesn't.
Yeah.
But
remember Zeke Mayo entered the transfer portal last year?
It is very interesting. Council is 24 years old, so with the NCAA recently approving changes to its eligibility model that removes the waiver submission process almost in entirety and allows the 5-and-5 rule from your high school graduation or from the time you turn 19, 5 years, this type of situation won't in the future be possible for NCAA athletes. But right now, he's suing the NCAA, trying to get another year. We'll keep you updated, but Dan, if we're talking basketball side of things, if there were a world where this happens, you're loving Melvin Council back.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Yeah.
And everybody's talking about the bigs, but what have I said all along? I'm a little bit worried about the depth at point guard because you do have Tate Kenny, who needs to have and should have a good season. Probably needs to be a great season for Kansas to be great. And then your other point guard is Leroy Blyden, and that's it. And Leroy Blyden is kind of your two, who's more of a shooter. He can be on ball, but you don't really have another on-ball guy. Now, the entire outlook of the roster would change if Council plays in terms of who's starting and that sort of thing. But from a depth perspective, Council had 13-5-5 last year. He's a really good player. He does a lot of things well. I don't think he'd be forced into scoring as much as he was last year, especially when DP wasn't out there. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people around here would love having a fan favorite back.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody loves Melvin Council. I mean, you know, with the whole dog persona, I mean, it was absolutely great. Now, in terms of how it would change the roster, I mean, that's a massive question because right away, I mean, you would start him at the 2 spot, right? I mean, you have to have Tay Kenny bringing up the ball, and you have Melvin Council kind of being that secondary ball handler, if you will, and you can kind of rotate the 2 guys, I think. You can have where would you put Tay Kenny?
I think Melvin Council is your starting point guard.
And so you put Tay Kenny at the 2?
Maybe.
Or,
yeah.
I mean, I don't think you can put Tay Kenny on the bench.
Okay.
I think you got to go Melvin, Kenny, Stokes as your starting backcourt for me. And then Rosario, Blyden, Parker coming off the bench. I mean, you have an embarrassment of goods right there in terms of guard play. But I think Melvin Council being
I think I would disagree
grizzled
with that.
veteran that he has.
We can have a bigger segment down the line about that since we don't have as much time on the show.
So you have Tay Kenny coming off the bench?
I guess you can bench Tyron Stokes. If that were to come back, yes. If that were to come back.
Okay.
I mean, if you had to ask me right now, then yeah, I think I'm really high on Blyden's scoring ability.
Sure.
Yeah, it would be interesting.
What about a platoon system just for the backcourt?
How about a platoon system like Kentucky did?
That's what I said.
5 in, 5 out.
Yeah.
No, for the whole team.
The whole team.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like that. I actually hate that a lot. Just for the backcourt. I don't know. I think you put because Melvin can play the 2 as well. I think you put Melvin at the 2, and then if he needs to bring the ball up, he can. And you can kind of have like a rotational 1 and 2 with Tay Kenny and Melvin, just whoever brings the ball up.
If that happens, then Tay Kenny's got to score because you can't have 1 and 2 be, not score first options. Like your 2's got to score, even if you have Stokes out there. I would worry a little bit about the offense in that situation, but excited about the offense. The other guys, like you mentioned, Parker, Rosario, Blyden, they can all score.
Yeah.
Hey, that's going to do it if you're listening on ESPN Kansas City, but more Rock Chalk Sports coming up on KansasNation.com.
I'm Tyson LeBlanc, and you're watching KansasNation.com.
Together, we're elevating our potential, our pride, our traditions, and our dreams. Together, we're opening up a whole new world of possibilities. Elevate your University of Kansas experience with JHX checking from Central Bank. Central Bank and KU, elevating together.
Get 0.9% APR or a $3,500 customer bonus on 2026 Atlas models. 2026 Atlas Cross Sport 3.9% APR or $3,500 customer bonus. 26 Tiguan models now 1.9% APR or a $2,500 customer bonus.
Hi there, Gary Joslin with Joslin's Jewelry. I'm not the class ring company. I'm a mom and pop jewelry store for 42 years. We were recently voted the gold medal #1 jewelry store in the greater Kansas City area by Ingram's Magazine. Come see us at Joslin's Jewelry, 9529 Antioch. Joslin's Jewelry, the jeweler you'll recommend to your friends and family.
Joslin's Jewelry for the best that's yet to come.
Jayhawk fans, if you haven't started to follow Kansas Nation on social, now is the time. Facebook, Instagram, X, it's Kansas Nation, and online at kansasnation.com for the latest news and information on your Kansas Jayhawks. Interviews, news conferences, daily and weekly shows, podcasts. Find it all at Kansas Nation and kansasnation.com. KansasNation.com is presented by Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. Step up your game with Game Day Men's Health Lawrence.
Closing things down here on Rock Chalk Sports today. Appreciate everybody who's watching live on Facebook, live on YouTube, listening over on ESPN Kansas City, or watching KansasNation.com. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Dan and I are getting really excited. We were talking about this in our 76 hours together in the car yesterday. The excitement of football season is here, but also we've gotten very lucky this season. I mean, numerous cup checks all summer.
Yeah, a lot of cup
We've
checks.
had KU baseball hosting their first regional, hosting their first super regional. We have the basketball tournament, which has been weirdly exciting and entertaining. And now the bridge, we're nearly over the top because Kansas football is back.
You can see it in the horizon.
Fall camp is coming. Your dad sent us a text yesterday of, imagine this. It's Saturday, September. What did he say? It's Saturday, September 5th.
It was a tweet. It was so good.
Yeah, it was a tweet. It just like being ready to watch, Notre Dame take on Eastern Michigan or something.
Oh,
yeah.
I can taste it, man.
Inject it in our veins. But yeah, that's coming up very soon, and we're excited that next week we're going to be able to provide coverage for all you guys as fall camp starts, media availability. Fall camp starts, you're going to hear from Coach Leipold. You're going to hear from Daryl Egg-Palsa. Oh, I got to tell you the story really quick. I told Caitlin yesterday before we went, it was in between the show and when you picked me up for us to go to Wichita. I said, what do you think you would do if you were hosting a 2-hour-long sports talk show? Like you don't get to do any like top 10 segments or anything like that. It's got to be about sports. You got to talk KU basketball, KU football. And I'm like, what would you say? Go. No, I think I said, oh man, KU loses by 6. Let's break it down. Caitlin, what do you think went wrong? She's like, I think it all starts with the offensive line.
That's so good. That's so great.
And I told David, who played, of course, as an offensive lineman and was a captain for Kansas football back in the late 70s, early 80s. I told her, I was like, I'm going to tell David you said that because, first of all, it's usually true. Yeah. And second of all, he's going to love it because the guys up front don't get a lot of love. But,
what a classic thing to say, too. It all starts with the offensive line.
Yeah.
I probably said that 50 times in my life.
Absolutely.
Just starting off shows like that.
Anyway, but yeah, Kansas football on the horizon. Hey, before we talk late night in the Phog, and I kind of give my thoughts on it, tell us about our friends over at Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment here in Lawrence.
Let's tell you about Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment, because did you know that they are outdoor enthusiasts? They're excited to help you experience the fun and adventure that quality lawn and garden and outdoor power equipment can bring into your life. They're an outdoor power equipment dealership serving the Lawrence area, also the Valley Falls area, offering the best in new and pre-owned Ferris, Hustler, and Country Clipper mowers, Mahindra tractors and implements, Arctic Cat ATVs and UTVs, steel handhelds, and Billy Goat specialty turf products. Their friendly and knowledgeable sales, financing, service, and parts department are ready to offer outstanding service every step of the way. From assisting while you're deciding what equipment best suits your needs, to ongoing maintenance and customization, they're ready to serve you. At Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment, they value the opportunity to build a long-term relationship with their customers, and they do that by making sure that they exceed your expectations. Check them out at Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment here in Lawrence or Valley Falls, or go to HeinenOPE.com. That's HeinenOPE.com.
All right, late night in the Phog, coinciding with KU exhibition.
Kind of ended that
contest. You did.
Weird.
You talked about this last week on the show. Interesting news when I was out at the lake and got this email, but to kind of refresh everybody, because this is still the main story on KU Athletics, is that the men's and women's basketball teams are going to have separate 2026 editions of Late Night in the Phog presented by a Hy-Vee in conjunction with an exhibition contest for each program. So as we talked about a little bit earlier in the show, the men's team is going to be the middle Friday in October, if you will, same day that it usually is on the calendar. It's Friday, October 16th. The women's team, though, they're going to have their own Late Night in the Phog against Washburn on Thursday, October 29th. So the format for the Late Night in the Phog has shifted, but you're still going to get a lot of the same pomp and circumstance that you have in the past. You're going to have fan activities during, before, after. You're going to have giveaways, halftime, post-game events, that sort of thing. I don't know if they'll extend to the halftime or anything like that, but it's a relatively low-risk game, an exhibition against Pitt State on the men's side. But Just Foods, as they have been in the past, will be present at both late-night events. They'll collect food items and monetary donation. October 16th, that Friday at 2 p.m., Phog Fest will continue on the front lawn of Allen Fieldhouse. There's going to be Hawk Zone with inflatable games, music, and a lot more. It's going to have food trucks, all that sort of thing. All of that's going down. And then October 29th, again, will be the women's side. Interesting, the women's game against Washburn the 29th. That's their Late Night in the Phog game. They play a exhibition a week prior, Thursday, October 22nd, against Northeastern State.
That's
Shout
right.
out.
Northeastern State. I actually played football against them.
Yes,
I
and shout
had
out to the MIAA flipping coin for
I had the
making me not have to
game-winning
drive
play
yesterday.
against Northeastern State in 2019.
Did you?
Yes. That was the only game I ever got meaningful playing time in. It was September 5th, 2019. Played in 3 snaps. 2 of them were victory formation.
Yeah, and you got a winning play. By that, you mean you were in victory formation?
Yeah, I got the MIAA flipping coin right here from that game.
Anyway, October 16th is KU men against Pitt State. And then Wednesday, October 21st is when Louisville comes to town. I said this earlier in the show, but there is a possibility, as we discussed earlier in the offseason, that you can have a third exhibition. And given the fact that Kansas doesn't play until November 2nd to open the regular season, that's a lot of days. That's 11 days in between games for KU basketball. There's a chance that you do get a marquee matchup. We've heard rumblings. We don't know. This isn't anything official from KU Athletics, but we've heard the Duke. And then, then there was news. No, it's not going to happen with Arkansas and KU. Bottom line is it could happen, and usually Coach Self and the coaching staff, if there's an opportunity to play another game, especially if it's against a quality opponent like that, then they're going to take it. And that's veering a little bit from the late night, but I don't know yet how I feel about this. Why don't you give your take? I mean,
this is
it's just going to be interesting.
This is my take. I like it because late night over the years, and shout out to everybody, like shout out to JHawk Video, with the Dream On video and all the production that goes into that, and all the fun skits that they do and the dance. The basketball that's played at late night in the Phog is an absolute joke. I mean, there's no defense being played. Guys are just chucking up threes. Like, guys aren't trying very hard. Now, there's actually a reason to entice fans to go out and watch late night in the Phog because you're actually playing a competitive basketball game against another team. It's Pitt State. They're Division II. But still, like, the level of basketball is going to be substantially higher than it ever has been at late night in the Phog. That's why I think it's a good thing. Now, they're not going to do the halftime dance or whatever and different things like that. Snoop Dogg's not going to come out with exotic dancers and money guns and all that different kind of stuff. It's going to be more of a, like, actual basketball game just with a the way that I'm looking at this is it's essentially an exhibition game with an extended introduction where they're going to have the Dream On video. They're going to have introductions for all the players, right? They might have a couple of things up on the video board in between, like timeouts or halftime or whatever that may be. But this is going to be a true basketball game. I think the basketball is going to be a lot better.
Yeah. I think I'll miss a little bit the men's and women's team being recognized the same night.
Yeah. I don't like that they're separating those.
But it goes without saying that the best part of late night in the Phog is the Dream On video, a 9-10 minute video, because we get a taste of it every home game at Allen Fieldhouse. And we don't talk about this enough, but the pregame player introduction videos at Allen Fieldhouse are second to none, to say the least. I mean, it's the greatest thing. I get chills every time. Whenever I'm up there in the media overflow section watching, and maybe I'm messing on my computer, maybe I'm typing something up or talking to whenever that video comes on, I completely stop doing everything. And I stop talking, and I make sure to watch that video every time because it's nostalgia of all the guys that you watched as a KU fan. And like you said, Rock Chalk Video does an unbelievable job of putting together the best players, the best moments, the best games in KU basketball history. And Late Night in the Phog takes that to the next level because then they can put more stuff in there where you get a 9 or 10 minute Dream On video. It's really, really special. So that's the most important thing. I
wish
think
I could
KU
get
Athletics will still do a really good job with this in terms of making it a fan experience, because that's the other thing. You talked about the quality of basketball. Nobody's expecting a big game, but the big thing about Late Night in the Phog is the excitement, the Phog Fest, all that. It sounds like all that will still happen, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything is still going to be like that, except for the fact that there's actually going to be competitive basketball being played. So that's why I like it.
Do you think people, like the players, are going to be upset that they're probably not going to have any skits or dancing or anything like that?
I don't think the players will be upset, but I think there's going to be some fans. I'm going to be upset.
Yeah.
I like watching the fun
that
skits.
portion.
They're
Yeah, well,
fun.
it'll be fun. And 2 different nights, the 16th for the men and the 29th for the women, late night in the Phog. Hey, we've got a full week the rest of the way on Rock Chalk Sports here on Kansas Nation. Want to shout out our technical director, Elijah Schmidt, assisted by Trey Myers today. Also, Jimmy Kaufman in studio today helping out with the operations as well. For Dan Courtwright, Sean Kellerman saying, join us tomorrow and every day, 4 to 6, here on ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com.
Hey, this is Sasha Khan, and you're watching KansasNation.com.
If you want to save a bunch on professional mowers, you better hustle to the Hustler Pro Sales event at Heinen Repair and Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment. Save up to 20% off the regular price of select new Hustler commercial mowers, and 0% financing is available with approved credit. Hustler Fleet Program members can save even more. Offers in July 31st. See them for complete details at Heinen Repair, south of Valley Falls, and Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment in Lawrence.
With Heinen, there's always hope for your yard.
Get 0.9% APR or a $3,500 customer bonus on 2026 Atlas models. 2026 Atlas Cross Sport 3.9% APR or $3,500 customer bonus. 26 Tiguan models now 1.9% APR or a $2,500 customer bonus.
At the heart of a city lies the restless, the visionaries, the bold. From redefining events to guiding local youth, providing lifelines of industry, or reshaping wellness across the region, you deserve a financial partner that matches your ambition. At Meritrust, we handle the finances, so you can take care of the bold. Meritrust Credit Union. Business, banking, bold.
Jayhawk fans, if you haven't started to follow Kansas Nation on social, now is the time. Facebook, Instagram, X, it's Kansas Nation, and online at kansasnation.com for the latest news and information on your Kansas Jayhawks. Interviews, news conferences, daily and weekly shows, podcasts. Find it all at Kansas Nation and kansasnation.com. KansasNation.com is presented by Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. Step up your game with Game Day